then you went in the house and saw Mr. Depp in the foyer, correct?
Yes, correct.
And Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his pants, didn't he?
I think I would remember
Relevance.
Mr. Depp's penis.
I'll allow. Next question.
And you were trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
Sara. What?
That's my name.
So you combined Mira with Sara? Is that what you did there?
Well, as you can see from my avatar, I'm a natural redhead, and I have to be the counterpart to the Armco man.
Does the carpet match the drapes?
No, thank God, no. There is no carpet.
You look like a 14-year-old girl. I love my women shaving like you're a 14-year-old skank. Remember Howard would ask that to everyone. He'd ask, what's her name?
Yes.
Cloris Leachman.
Mm-hmm.
You love Cloris Leachman.
I would think Cloris Leachman did not deserve to have those type of questions. She had.
Love old broads.
I do.
Hooper, welcome. A. Smith.
Thank you, by the way. A. Smith, thank you for the pre-game super chat. And I will check my DMs.
And collectively, with all your support. Every time I see A. Smith, I think how badly I have to get my hands on that George Young, Boston George documentary. It's 5 parts. It's on some stupid. I went on that streaming service rant. We're now at a point now. If you subscribe to every streaming service, you would triple your actual cable package as to what it is. Now, granted, it might be more, but there's a new streaming service every 5 minutes. You gotta stop. You got to cut yourself off at some point. You've got to say no. You got to draw the line. How many streaming services do you subscribe to, Sarah?
3.
Just 3?
Mm-hmm. I have what? Hulu, Netflix, YouTube TV.
Amazon?
Oh, yeah, Prime. I never go on the...
No, those are the basics. That's all you really... I don't need... I do shit like HBO Max and Disney... Plus, there's CBS has one now. NBC, all the 3 major networks have one now. The whole point of you is you're supposed to be rabbit ears, and now you're trying streaming shit on it. It's really bizarre. It's a really strange landscape we live in. A landscape that Depp is not particularly hip to.
Mm-hmm. I am skeeved out by Disney Plus, Disney in general, so I'm going to avoid that as long as I can in my life. HBO Max. I'm contemplating to do like a week-long free trial after the Game of Thrones prequel has aired in its entirety, and I can binge that and then be done.
CB, welcome. He's at Sunday school. That's a great compliment. Did you ever go to Sunday school, Sarah?
Yes, as a child.
Catechism? CCD, as it were?
I think my mother wanted me out of the house on a Sunday morning, so I would walk to Sunday school, and I just liked the Bible stories, and that was it.
You could walk to Sunday school?
Yeah.
Huh.
Back in those days, you could walk anywhere.
Yeah, true. I'm trying to remember if I...
Oh, run the banner. We got a grift.
Oh, right. Babe Lewis, welcome. What the hell was I going to say? Scott Balow, welcome. What the heck? We were talking about Scott Balow and his new opening in the future, which will feature Ralph Macchio and Rick Moranis, as this is one of his new nicknames, is Honey, I Shrunk the Karate Kid. And then obviously Mike Damone from Fast Times. So just put like quick. I'm contemplating putting Macchio from that guitar movie he did, Crossroads, because Balow's more of a music guy. You're associating more so than he is Cobra Kai.
I still don't understand quite what I'm supposed to do with that. That's the delay. So
no, in the Balow intro montage, just quick shots of Macchio and Moranis and Mike Damone.
Okay.
That's not hard for you, right? Aren't you the iconic filmmaker now with your little openings? That's over your head?
I just spent a week working on the last video. I'm on a break, but I'll get to it as soon as I can.
Oh, well, you were saying 3-minute video takes you, 7 hours, right?
Depends on what I got to pull for it.
Yeah, I got some. I got something to throw at you in the future. I got a thing I'm working on. A little surprise.
Okay.
It's a David. Of course, David wakes up. He hears Cloris Leachman right onto the chat there.
Wasn't he her third husband?
Yeah,
High school boyfriend,
Cloris
whatever.
Leachman is David's Martha Ray.
Yeah.
And boy, how are you feeling, David? Most importantly, and what was the nature of the illness? Is it just a classic fever? Is it who is
Is
it?
this
Ben is it Ben Benjamin or Ben 4810 loves David old school humor. They referenced a disease that's been extinct. That's been what the hell is it? Like an
polio?
old yeah, like polio or something like that.
You might be treading into like podcasting's version of HIPAA violations by asking somebody about their medical
Why
issues.
is that true? Is that a real thing?
No, Jesus.
25 years ago, Ben, Oasis released their third album, Be Here Now, featuring Johnny Depp on slide guitar at the track Fade. I remember that very well, Ben. And I remember that's very much the Kate Moss era during that. And I remember how they were obsessed with how emphasizing how difficult slide guitar is or how unique it is or something. I don't know if I agree with that.
I
I
know
want to
nothing
ask.
about it.
I was thinking about Depp and how the world. My big phrase is the world has enough guitarists in the world. We need more Johnny Depp chameleons.
I
You know what I mean?
asked for a guitar for Christmas about 5 years ago. I got it. I literally played 4 notes. It hurt my fingers, and I stopped.
David, as a head, I should ask you this, and maybe on Thursday. But I'm gonna pose this to you. Maybe you could think about it. Maybe you could think about it because I want your actual answer live. As a head of an orchestra, as a composer, when you're say building a band, let's say you held auditions, if all musicians are welcome, what percentage of those musicians would be guitarists that would show up? And eventually you'd start rolling your eyes and you have to shut down. Would it be 80% of the people would come in that are guitarists? And then when you see one keyboardist or one drummer or one saxophonist or one flautist, is that what it is? Flautist? It's so I wonder, like when you any band, rock band, whatever, when you say open auditions, what percentage of those people that trundle in are guitarists?
Are
And
you counting
eventually,
bass in that?
a lot of guitarists play both bass and lead. The people I knew could easily play both. I remember one. NA welcome, Sue Monster welcome. I forgot to send the pics. Oh, we want pics of himself. Okay, he's gonna put a side by side of Rick Moranis, Macchio himself, and we'll put that in the montage if you
Okay.
would. David says, I'm feeling back to normal. It was just a summer cold, not COVID. That's a real thing. That's the summer cold. Yeah, it was,
Well,
it was
colds didn't go away. Flus didn't go away.
I believe that is the thing, the summer cold. I had a trace of that last week for about half a day. You could,
Anytime the weather changes,
yeah.
I am apt to get a cold.
I think it was G Canada in one of the comments had written something, I guess, profound. And there's a lot of areas of the country that are like this. He said that Ohio seemingly has no seasons. It's just humid at 98 or it's tundra. So it's summer and winter. There's no spring, there's no fall, there's no season. It's just summer and spring. I mean summer and winter. Summer and winter. That's straight. There's no leaning into the seasons. There's no gradual. And your area is very much seasonal, or is it pretty consistently mild?
It's seasonal, but for example, winter is primarily rain, and we will have like maybe a day of snow, and maybe a little frost in the morning. That's a normal winter for Oregon.
What's the coldest it gets temperature wise?
Maybe in the 20s.
Oh, it actually does get to the 20s?
Mm-hmm.
But there's no, I don't know of icing or snow there too often.
No.
Is there some Alaskan Bering Strait fucking
I don't know.
Gulf
I'm sure
Stream that deflects the
things drift over at certain points.
Yeah, Ben's very knowledgeable. Ben 4810 is very knowledgeable about guitar. He got to circle back to he's always bringing the guitar knowledge. I forgot about that. I think slide guitar is very easy to play when you're off your head on grade A Colombian Bam Bam with the Gallagher Bros from Abbey Road Studios. And then he was my favorite Oasis song is Live Forever. Is that's I
Mm-hmm.
said maybe I don't really want to know how your garden grows because I just want to fly. Maybe if you ever feel they always get the other one is Don't Go Away, which I think is about his mom. The Gallagher's mom passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that one. Those are my two favorite. I actually like Oasis. I do.
You're fine. I don't
I'm
have a
not ashamed
problem.
to admit it. I like Oasis.
I don't like that they. Well, I don't really care that much, but the thing that stands out for me is in the "Live Forever" video. They're mooching off of the memory of Kurt Cobain with a picture of him in the background.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, they're not allowed to have an homage to
Nah,
him.
it's just kind of weird.
Got to run it by you to have an homage to Cobain.
I would like to think so.
Are you the curator? What are you fucking
I am the
Francis
keeper
Bean
of
over
the
there?
flame.
Everybody has to ask permission to
Mm-hmm.
to poach into. I guess that's the way I do it with Depp, right? Melvin, welcome, sir. Sarah, what that mouth do? Keeps getting a little bottle scolded in the episode. Can you interpret that?
Yes. What does that mouth do? Of course, is in reference to my dead tongue. So
Right.
not much. Arm, let's keep the yelling to a mild scolding this episode. Remember you had a little breakdown, but that was nothing.
It wasn't a breakdown. It was
A
I
breakthrough.
know that Melvin a breakthrough. I know that Melvin loves anger, and I think you get your best work out of anger. If there's quite a skill in life, if you can somehow channel your anger into productivity, it's like the greatest thing in the world. If you
When
can
you
turn it
yell,
on
it
and
turns
turn it
Camille
off.
on, hence turning Melvin on.
It is. It's to appeal. It's the aphrodisiac. It's the melvrodisiac. So I have to have one burst of anger each time, whether it's this or Radio Gunk.
It's usually
I like
justified.
being angry once in a while. I do it. I was watching my new favorite show, my new favorite binge show. It's called Kingdom, and it's such a generic name. It so doesn't represent. I don't even know why it's the MMA show that I'm watching with Frank Grillo as the lead about this very dysfunctional MMA family, and he runs a gym, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's so much better than you think it is, and what you think it would be some jarhead attempt that it's so much deeper than that. And Frank Grillo goes to a psychologist, and he says, "I don't like being." He's like, "I either like being up or down, but not in the middle because I feel like I'm dead. I need to feel something extreme." I never
Mm-hmm.
thought of that. I've never phrased it that way. He framed it out well because you're alive if you feel one of those two things. If you're in the middle, you're just coasting and nobody cares.
Yep. Oh, by the way, do you want to know the Brown score?
Sure.
21-20, and they are on the 20 side of that score.
You gamble on preseason football?
No, but I watched most of the game today. They lost. It's okay. It's all rookies and people trying to make the team, so I'm not worried.
They've reduced the number of preseason games to
4.
four. It
Mm-hmm.
went from 6 to 4,
Yep.
and that was like a negotiation to add another regular season game, which I'm completely fine with. I think they should add another bye week
I don't have a problem
or
with the bye week. It lets
another
me
fantasy week.
a bye week lets me enjoy football games for that Sunday without wanting to throw up.
The theory is you want the Super Bowl. If you're not going to move it to Saturday, which they should, um, I've always said that they should have it where it falls on President's Day weekend,
Mm-hmm. We're
so
gonna.
everybody is the next day off.
Speaking of football, we're gonna have to reschedule our
Oh
shows
yeah, it's gonna be Saturday. Definitely, this will
or
be.
Friday nights.
Well, then you going Thursday and Friday night.
Well, I have to make trips sometimes to West to see my parents on a Saturday. So I don't know. We'll
Okay,
figure it
okay,
out. We can always
okay.
take a weekend
Yeah.
off.
So that's why Jim Jordan wears a suit jacket. I know. The Ohio, he feels a rolled up fucking dress shirt. That's his fucking trademark look. He's a big midget too. I think he's like 5'6". I think he makes Tom Cruise look like Chuck Nevitt.
Mm.
We need
King
a
Cat.
David pick. What?
It's Sorry, I was skipping ahead. King Cap has a comment. Go Raiders. King Cap, I will appreciate the Raiders because they took Aaron Rodgers' only receiver away. So I appreciate that. Aaron Rodgers has to struggle. I enjoy watching that. So thank you.
Lauren Marie, welcome, Lauren. I for you, I deliberately chose not to show this montage MTV did of Depp's career in 2012, only because they did not include the ninth gate, and I just knew you'd be livid, so I just decided to just nix the whole thing. It's really a copyright thing, but
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know. I don't know what they would do. It's a montage which never goes more than like 3 seconds, for a film. So I don't know what we would get. I'm actually curious to see what they would do with that. It's MTV's clipped together montage. So this is like pre a lot of movies you might like in the last 10 years. So
Mhm.
it's just a lot of scissor hands and pirates and there's some blow, but there's no ninth gate and there's no astronaut's wife and there's no Nick of Time. Nick of Time is a
Well,
guilty pleasure of mine.
I
Nick
can't
of Time
imagine
is my ninth gate to Lauren Murray.
you play that. I can't imagine the emails I'm going to get about copyright. Use your Donnie Brasco clips. I got 4 emails.
Yeah, but it's so small potatoes in the long scheme of things that what you lose out in monetization, the 15 cents is not worth the artistic, compromising your artistic integrity by not playing
I
it.
agree with that. That's why I just try to keep it to copyright claims and not strikes.
Yep.
So usually we can just get it by with a claim on that.
I'm this close. I'm this close to claiming ownership of the Donnie Brasco rights.
All right.
I'm going to contact YouTube and I'm going to fight. I'm going to say I own the rights to Donnie Brasco. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I
And I'll
think you can be proved
I'll
wrong
reference
within
all the
20
producers and
seconds.
then I'll mafia threat them. I'll say I know Sonny Black No, Monique lived next door to Sonny Black Napolitano in Greenpoint. That's how I'll
Mhm.
prove it. That's how
Okay.
I'll prove it.
All right.
David says, I think a rock band would be mostly guitars and drummers or mostly show off instruments in a band. Like, I agree, David. I've said this often. I think 80% of the guitarists are into the cool factor more so than the sound, that they could give a shit about the sound it's making or music itself. They are trying to get laid by playing the guitar, and I really stand by that. I think Depp himself might admit that.
Mhm.
I really think 80% of guitarists have no interest in music, the sound it makes, or anything like it. They're just trying to get laid, and they think it looks cool. And I'm not even saying anything profound there. I don't think. Right?
No.
More so than bass or
Take that
key.
however you want.
Bass has a cool bass actually has a cooler factor than lead does. You ever see Wayman Tisdale on that bass? That is a cool brother. That is
According to you, Wayman Tisdale is the only bass player that has ever existed.
and
He
Matt Kaplan
invented the bass
and Matt,
guitar.
and Matt Kaplan. But Tisdale, as you know, has the same birthday as Johnny Depp, and one of my ideas was to come out with a band called the June 9th, and Depp on lead and backup vocals. Natalie Portman sings. Michael J.
Oh.
Fox, of course, on drums, and Wayman Tisdale
Wouldn't he
is
be
bass
a
player
better
on.
tambourine player?
Yeah, all right. Or Wayman Tisdale on. Didn't Michael J. Fox play what the hell? It was a music movie, a rock band movie. What the hell was it?
He
Pray
played
for Rock
guitar
and Roll.
in Back to the
Yeah.
Future.
But there was he did a music movie in the mid '80s, probably right around the same time Family Ties was out.
He did Bright Lights, Big City. Was that? But that's where he does
No,
drugs.
that's
I never watched
he's
it.
like a broker in that
I
Wall
know
Street.
exactly. Yeah, you're right. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
I remember I Pray for Rock and Roll or something
I
like
don't
that. Was
know.
that the Gina Gershon movie?
Somebody will do the work for us.
Arm, you are a Mank accent. Is for what's Mank?
Is it Manchester?
Manchester. I do a pretty good George Young when I want. You know what I do, and I don't know. I'll break it out when I get in the mood or I get it back. I used to do a really good Kevin Spacey impression, and because he's been so
I hope not.
AWOL, it's just gone into remission. It's just
Good.
Oh, you don't want to hear it? You're too cool for that too?
I don't want
Are
to
you
know
too
the
cool for school,
dialogue you
Sarah?
would spout as Kevin Spacey.
Oh, it's just he does that like cadence. Goes, I started watching that show, Kingdom. Kind of lukewarm on it. So for Nick Jonas, it's also very reminiscent of the same Leo DeLion early projects, in my opinion. He does that cadence. It's almost like you could read from cue cards with him, because you do like a melodramatic pause after every couple of words. Started watching the show Kingdom. I'm kind of lukewarm on it so far. Nick Jonas. Also, yeah,
Me too.
Nick Jonas is in it,
It tells me
and
not to watch it.
he's kind of no. He's fine. He's just plays like a subtle younger brother who's like grudgingly going along with the family MMA thing. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not. Is it for everybody? Probably not. But I can
Okay.
fully. The acting's way better than you would think with that as the premise. Way
Light of
better.
day, David.
Thank you,
Yes.
David.
Light of day.
Leave it to the 33-year-old to tell us a
Yeah.
movie that he was -3 when it came out. I don't even know if it could be early. I think it came out in '84. So
Yeah.
David was
I think it was
-4 years
later.
old when it
But
came
yeah,
out.
Light of Day, he plays the brother of Joan Jett, I believe.
Okay, yes, Joan Jett. Joan Jett and Pat Benatar are
I
all
could even tell you at one time, oh my God, there was a song they sang in that movie. I could tell you every lyric from it. I was obsessed with Michael J. Fox for 2 minutes in the 80s.
Lauren Marie goes, sports are Greek to me. I'm watching the Blair Witch Project, BWP.
I saw
Lauren
that.
Marie and BWP.
I watched that in the theater at the time. I was so bored. Figured
That
this is it.
movie, that movie, I don't think it stands anymore. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. It doesn't come up anymore. It was a major groundbreaking thing in the sense that it made insane money for the budget. That I mean, these crazy, just like renegade filmmakers, like what they throw like $40,000 into it, and I think it went on to make. I don't know. I'm sure Melvin will flash the stat, but it made 9 figures. I want to say like $200 million, maybe
I think
just in the
you're about
states.
right. It
Maybe
went
just in the
crazy.
States. It was a
Yeah.
dude running around with a flashlight and a
Well,
shaky cam and just acting scared. And there's more to it than that, I know, but I know that its signature thing was it made insane money for a film that it cost nothing.
I just remember they the big finale. I don't think I'm spoiling anything because I didn't understand it. Somebody standing in a corner and they're sobbing. I didn't get it. I just went home. I didn't. I let the movie finish and the credits roll and I went home, not understanding what I just saw.
King Cap, I like the Raiders too. Sarah makes fun of me because I like a lot of teams, even though I have a favorite
You're
team.
not
I,
a true
I
fan.
like a lot of the classic teams. I would be very fine with a Raiders Super Bowl. I like them a lot, but do they switch cities every 15 minutes? What do you prefer them in, King Cap? Oakland, LA, or Vegas? Like, are they going to switch? Remember we said that a couple of months we were talking before we did one of the Deppings, but the Raiders are eventually going to move to Portland. In 5 years, it'll be in Portland.
No.
If they have the support the Blazers do, it's a great place to go.
Well, we
I
need a
heard I
football
heard a
team.
rumor the Oakland A's are going to move to Portland.
I don't care about baseball. I want a football team, but I would still follow the Browns.
King Cap, do you remember this? This is like God. This had to be at least 5 years ago. The latest NFL game ever to be played at night. The Oakland A's in a playoff game ruined the field, and the maintenance crew had to redo the field again. So they moved a Charger Raider game to it was either okay, they took it off Sunday and they moved it to Monday night, and it started at 11:45 Eastern time on Monday night, and I watched the whole thing. It was insane. It was so weird to see that, and I think
Mhm.
it's to this day the latest NFL game ever to be played because when you share a stadium with that you're gonna run the risk of. It might have been was it the no? It was the A's. It was the Oakland A's in the playoffs.
Mhm.
Pretty sure.
I haven't watched baseball since the Giants. I think they were in the World Series. My cousin played third base for them in the 90s. I haven't cared since. Well, cousin
You
by
want to you
marriage.
want to say who that cousin is? He's a bit
Yeah,
of
I
a
don't care.
what?
Matt Williams' first
Jesus.
wife is my cousin.
Matt Williams' first wife is your cousin, and that so it's okay. That's not a Did you ever meet him?
No, they always kind of lived in Arizona.
Uh huh.
I never knew her. She never knew me. So I have no
I think
proof of it, of course, just a photo with her in it of one of my relatives. But
I don't know if you realize this, but Matt Williams on his podcast is bragging that he knows the co-host of the Depping
you
right now to
should.
his fans.
He's a big, big fan.
Do you remember those San Francisco Giants teams? I mean, that was your team, right? Because that's the closest team to Oregon,
Hmm.
the Giants. Do you remember those teams with Will Clark and Jeff Leonard and
Yeah, I had the
Uh,
option region-wise of rooting for either the Giants or the A's, and I went with the Giants because they were kind of, the lesser popular, and I always tend to go for that.
right.
Like I go for the underdog team,
They both had
obviously.
super cool teams at the time. There was a lot of legends that came out of those two friends. I love the A's. I'm an
Mhm.
Angels fan. I'm actually an Angels fan. If I had to, you know, I've been an Angels fan since they just, I don't know what it was. They had the coolest. It was all this thing you're attracted to as a kid. New York sports were lame to a Generation Xer, and I something about them was banal and unsexy, and I was looking for that forbidden fruit one day. I must have been 9 years old, and I'm watching the game of the week on NBC, and it was an Angels Brewers game, and
Mhm.
I just was like, this is my team. I was a man without a country before that, and I just
I
grabbed,
get it.
Rod Carew and Jeff Zahn, Reggie, and then Dan and Doug DeCinces and Rick Burleson
Mhm.
and Bob Boone, and I don't know, and I just latched onto them, and that's how you think as a little kid. But the dumbest reasons you just latch onto a team, and they have one World Series.
Yeah. You ready to
Uh,
get into our tribute to Big Red?
yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna play your video first. Yeah, it was Pat Benatar. I'm gonna play your video first,
Yeah, whatever you
or
want
do
to
you
do,
want me
whatever
to
order.
do the story? No,
Do
you want to do your homage first.
okay. I think I gave you timestamps.
Ben says, from playing with Oasis to the Hollywood Vampires 20 plus years later, that has to be the Rock's slowest downwards tailspins ever. Do you know how that even got going, Ben? And I just realized, I remembered this last night. I was thinking about the movie Dark Shadows, which was like a Tim Burton. Depp had so much power at this point. In 2007, when they did Sweeney Todd, that him and Burton are just like, hey, he's like, Tim, you remember that? Remember that soap opera in the 70s? Dark Shadows would be on and get home after school. And they're like, they're reminiscing about this crazy goth soap opera that was on. I never saw it. I have no idea. I don't think it was on in my area or my time. I had no idea it even existed. So they had so much power between the two of them. They got this movie fucking made with a $200 million budget, like a tongue in cheek goth horror thing, a take on an old soap opera that no one remembers. So they got this green light, and the powers that be and their ultimate wisdom decide to launch this movie directly against the biggest Marvel cinematic juggernaut at that point, Avengers 1 on the same day.
Mhm.
Could you possibly butcher every and it was a disaster. Review wise, monetarily, I remember that budget was north of $200 million for Dark Shadows. Dark Shadows, you watched it. Does that look like a
No.
$200 million movie to you?
Well, I did watch the movie, yes. I thought you were talking about the soap for a second. I knew of it. I never watched it. I don't care about a vampire soap opera. But
Right. So why
you
wouldn't the
know,
studio think the same thing you would? Because he had so much power, he can get shit like that made, and they thought the pirates' magic was going to trickle into that.
of course. And no, I wasn't impressed. It's a very mediocre movie.
And what I'm answering with Ben is that Alice Cooper is in Dark Shadows. So that's how
Mhm.
he met him and developed the relationship, and that's how the Hollywood Vampires got launched. So you can blame Tim Burton and Dark Shadows for the Hollywood Vampires. A lot of people don't realize that. Love the Tuscadero and Patu and
Let me ask
Depp
you a
and
question. I don't know if I've asked you this before. Maybe I have.
before I forget, one last thing is that Beck Depp and Beck love it. I read, and it might be that Depp is not Depp. The album sales for their Depp and Beck collaboration are so paltry that Depp is not touring with Beck in the States. He's
Mhm.
actually starting a tour in the States, and Depp is not officially committed to the tour. The rumor is because the album bombed.
Did it bomb? I mean, he was
I don't
on
know what
in
I don't know what
today's
music is
terms.
anymore. I don't know what music is anymore. I
I
I
know
know what you're
something
saying.
went to number 1 on iTunes. Apparently now that's considered a success.
I don't know what musical success is
I don't
anymore.
either.
Album sales.
I
That's
don't
a good point.
either.
In his defense, I don't understand what that means. Budget, Melvin, thank you, sir. Budget 200,000, 200 that between 200 grand, 500 grand. Box office take $249 million. And I don't know if that's internationally or just in the States, but that is crazy. And that launched a whole generation of filmmakers like yourself.
That was 20
to
years
think
ago,
you-
money.
I know. But that was like, I can do that too. So when people saw that, they're like, I can do that too. Not the Kevin Smith shit. That's a whole other thing. But I think that Blair Witch stuff really inspired a ton of young filmmakers to go, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's striking lightning though. It's just grabbing onto a lightning bolt. You have no idea when the timing of it, the mood of the public, when it's really, you can't, you can't possibly mimic that formula again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
No, I had to mute. I had to sneeze. Okay. Oh, my question is, if you had a free ticket to go see the Hollywood Vampires, would you go?
Probably.
Thank you. That's all I want to know. I've always been curious about that, if you would go.
Depends where I wouldn't stand in the back.
No, you're in
It'd have
front.
to be intimately close so Depp's bodyguards can come at me.
You can touch Malcolm.
Yeah. It has to, and I don't want to sound like I deserve VIP seating. I don't give a shit. I'm not sitting in the back. It's got to be. I have no tolerance for where the humanoids go.
My next question. Depp flicks his cigarette, of course, because it's probably in his mouth while he's playing at some point. The ash hits you on the arm. You have the opportunity to save that ash. Would you do that?
I would carve the ash into my arm as a tattoo. WINO forever.
Okay.
See, and sear it into my my right tricep where his 1/15th Cherokee Indian symbol is. That's the first tattoo. If you watch 21 Jump Street in the second season, Fear and Loathing with Russell Buckins. I wonder how that title came about.
Of course.
He rips his sweatshirt off. They're driving. He's hungover. Russell Buckins is driving. He rips his sweatshirt off to unveil a tattoo of a Cherokee Indian.
You know, he was so proud of that.
I know. And the movie, I'm sorry, the show was too lazy to cover the tattoo. Like, why would Tom Hanks? Oh no, actually, he qualifies it. He goes, Buckins goes, he goes, I gotta tell you, Hanson, I'm impressed. You blow off your job, you wrestle a bear, you get a tattoo, and then he goes, what? And he rips his sweatshirt off, and it's a Cherokee Indian tattoo.
Like you wouldn't know that. I would feel that for a week.
I know.
One thing about tattoos and our topic today is I never noticed this before, but when Elaine's giving her closing, she muffs, of course, as she would, what his tattoo says. She goes, and you got a tattoo saying "wine forever."
You're getting good at Elaine. That was good. I think you're a very underrated impressionist.
No, I'm horrific, but I have died a little inside. My soul has died putting that video together.
Scott Bailey goes, I was so dumb at the time Blair Witch came out. I thought it was real.
I did too for 2 seconds.
Matt Williams is still a hero of Dorian Morgan's and in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is too.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of. I was a big Matt Williams fan. Says fine, Chuck. You're getting a lot of Matt Williams feedback.
Yeah.
What do you
believe?
He
doesn't know I exist, so I don't know what I'm bragging about, but
I think he does know. I think he's bragging about knowing you right now on the Matt Williams podcast. I mean, he's got. I guarantee you, he has some semblance of every old school hero now is going to have a podcast. Yeah, Williams. He was on the home run record pace when the strike grew. But the strike in '94 was a huge. It really crippled baseball. I don't think I ever came back like fully after that. I was like, oh no, you get some nerve. You got some nerve. And between that and the steroids, that was a bad. And then they needed McGuire and Sosa to try to bring it back. I feel like it's never fully recovered. I really feel like that.
I agree. I don't even know sometimes how it keeps going.
They're losing the youth in droves. The average age of the baseball fan, I think I read, is 57 years old and only getting older.
It hasn't been the pastime, America's pastime in 40 years. But
no, they got to stop saying it. It's very regionalized. It's so localized. I also read one time it was like a Diamondbacks Padre game It was like on ESPN on Monday night, and I was like, I remember seeing it flipping around. I go, who is watching this? This is like 2 years ago or something. And the ratings were like, it's like 400,000 people nationally watching it.
I have to about this comment. The dual baseball football stadiums. I hate watching a football game and you see the dirt from the
I
diamond
hate
on
that
the
too. I've
field.
always hated
Oh, it
that. I
just
agree.
looks so
Yep.
crappy.
Getting tackled on where the shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be the worst feeling in the world. Getting hit by a kamikaze assassin linebacker on the third baseline has got to be the worst feeling with puff of smoke coming up.
Yeah.
I hate that too. David was the ball boy for the Brooklyn Dodgers. That's super.
The Racine Peaches.
The Ravens. Scott, no worries. By the way, I gotta, the David's native Cleveland. The fake sensitivity by pro sports with the Native American stuff. So we got the Washington Commanders instead of the Redskins, and we have the Cleveland Guardians instead of the Indians. You know damn well if those teams won a World Series and a Super Bowl, they wouldn't fuck with anything.
Of
You know
course, the
damn
Chiefs.
well. Why are the Chiefs still there? Because they won a Super Bowl. Why are the
Mhm.
Atlanta Braves okay? Because they won a World Series. They're so full of shit. They don't care about anything except money. And it was because the advertisers dropped on them.
Mm-hmm.
You think they really care about Native American experience like Depp and the Brave?
Like someday the Packers is going to be considered an offensive word for the
It will.
homosexual
It's coming.
community.
It's coming. Lauren Marie goes, Scott, no worries. It's meant to fool people and think I did an amazing job promoting the movie with super believable lo-fi website. They agreed. They did a masterful job. It really is a masterclass in movie promotion. The Dark Shadows 1990s remake TV miniseries is super popular. I didn't know that, Lauren. I had no idea. I wonder if Depp saw that. I had no idea they did a remake
I'm
of that.
sure. I'm sure he had to binge watch all that crap.
Just laughing, imagining Depp and dreaming up possible. No, Ben's. I'm just laughing. Imagine conversations between Depp and Tim Burton, dreaming up possible new projects and collaborations together. No,
How
Ben,
goth.
that's exactly what they do. How much time those two on the set finishing each other's sentences, and they're obsessed with you hear any time those two are in interviews, they have the same obsessions and interests, and they finish each other's sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Georgie Jessel, I guess he was a roasting comedian from the 70s. I have no idea. I had no idea who he was. I had to ask my dad who he was. And apparently he sounds a little bit like Ed Wood, and Depp does an impression of him. I'm doing an impression of Depp doing an impression of Georgie Jessel because I've never seen this guy. He goes, action, cut. Apparently that's how his like a cotton candy mouth.
Mm-hmm. Like me.
No. John would be wearing those earmuffs kids wear at concerts.
You totally would. On somebody's shoulders.
I would volunteer to go up and sing Heroes with Depp and for him. I really would.
You're
I really
clinging
would.
to his legs,
It's
singing
basically
Heroes.
a glorified karaoke band, isn't it?
Yeah, I get that
What's
vibe.
the difference? There's a lot of just dinosaur rock they cover, and there's only a few originals. Gestalt Sara.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit. That's how you spell Gesundheit?
It could be.
Gesundheit. But it's the T is in a different spot. I've never ever, Hooper, if that's the right spelling, I've never seen that spelled out. Gesundheit. Do you have any tattoos?
Nope.
I actually got Gat Girl offered me $5,000 to get a Radio Gunk tattoo. I agreed to it, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
And then you haven't heard since.
And I haven't heard what since.
She disappeared.
Well, she definitely does an Artie Lang where she disappears and comes back. I love Gat Girl. She will disappear. Have you ever heard? She speaks exactly like Alanis Morissette.
She did a episode. I don't remember though. I don't remember details.
And she comes away. She turned me on to Adderall. She swears by it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she just kind of prescription Adderall. Like a year ago, she was talking about it, how it saved her life.
Please check with a professional first.
No, I'll just check with Gat Girl
before you assume that you would thrive on Adderall.
A. Smith and Gat Girl are my psychiatrists.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a nurse practitioner?
I
Does
don't
that?
know. I don't
Ashley
know.
Stern. Yeah, Ashley Stern's gonna medicate me. Elaine's 1977 teen page boy haircut drives David insane. It's so
David
clumpy and
Cassidy
unbecoming.
haircut. Yeah.
I love that David even knows what the 1977 Tiger Beat teen boy even is
Yeah.
at his age.
Good for him.
I bet Elaine Bredehoft
Ugh.
has a secret tattoo. You know what they say about the quiet, nerdy
An
ones.
arrow on the muff or a tramp
Who,
stamp.
Barbara DeRush. Hoop. The Yankees are making me pass out. Let's go Mets.
Are the Yankees sucking this year? That's all I want to know.
No, they're
Damn.
it's when you the problem another problem with baseball is there's no salary cap.
Exactly.
So you can be the Yankees and buy, and like my dad, we were talking about this one day. He didn't yell at me, but he was like, hey, he's defending Steinbrenner. He's like, hey, that's until they pass the salary cap. That's the rules of the game, and that's what they do, and they're outspending everybody, but it's not. It's like college basketball bragging Duke and North Carolina and Kentucky get the best recruits every year. And like, yeah, of course you do. Of course you
Mm-hmm.
beat Appalachian State by 75. You get like between those three teams in Kansas, they get like 80% of the top high school All Americans. Of course you're good. This is not. What are you bragging about? You have
Mm-hmm.
all the advantages in the world. So
Yep.
baseball is a bit like if they had a salary cap, I think it would be much better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they can qualify paying these guys what they pay them to with how little interest it is nationally. I don't know where. I guess it's just like an owner who is a baseball nerd and just wants to hang out, and he'll pay anything to be with these guys and pay them. Georgie Jessel was the Jeff Ross for the 50s. Isn't it amazing? David's the one who's telling us about Georgie Jessel. Isn't it crazy? It is crazy.
How's his
There should
poker
be
buddy?
there should be some documentary or some kind of thing on David and how you become David with all that crazy nostalgic knowledge. Like
Mm-hmm.
how do you accrue that over the years? Are you studying? Your parents are indoctrinating you to all that old school stuff and you just lap it up. Gilbert Gottfried. That's right, Hooper. That's right. Gilbert Gottfried loved Georgie Jessel. I'm waiting for Tim Burton to make a Russ Meyer movie. That's coming, Dory. If he did Ed Wood, that's coming next. Brendan says Billy West is a huge Georgie Jessel fan, partly based on his Futurama voices. Good call, Brendan. That's the guy he does on Futurama. Is that based? I had no idea. And I saw a little of that Gilbert interview. I need to watch that whole thing. I didn't realize that, and it makes total sense. I just got listening to the last like an OD on the Deppening. Thank you, Gongadin, and welcome, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. One of my favorites. That
One
Legal
of
Eagle.
one of our greats.
Is Judy Tanunu in the chat? Judy Tanunu,
I
I
haven't
guess
seen the name.
through Monique, said that he wrote a comic book and he wanted me to read it. I'd be honored to read it. And I'm proud of you for writing a comic book. Did you pencil it too? About his time at Marvel Comics, apparently. The Legal Eagle is the deep Minnesota forest. Next victim. Okay, that's Elaine. That's NA's Elaine knowledge.
I have a suspicion. We'll get into it though in just a second. Once you get caught up with chat.
David, you misspelled incredibly sexy term. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go. Finish it.
No, I think that she's just after that the emotionally draining experience of working with the succubus. I
Right.
would imagine she's going to retire.
Well,
She's
I
like
mean, she wasn't
200 years
meant to
old.
do that. I'm going to get into this now. David is a shoeless Joe as a baseball player. That's a Ray Liotta movie. Once and for all, David is 78 years old. If you believe he's 32, I got a bridge for you fuckers to buy, says Hooper 45. I know. Nobody buy. He's so convincing. David's undercover as a 78-year-old. David remembers his past lives. See, I can't wait to make the new David opening with the Steve Rogers. I'm 95. I'm not dead. And the barbershop quartet joke he makes in Winter Soldier. David is still Josie. David is modern Kenneth Anger.
Didn't David
What?
cobble the first pair of shoes? Back in the day?
Y.68. Welcome, sir. Vampire. All right. So you were saying, Sarah, about Elaine.
Yeah, I just think that she's, and I couldn't blame her. Wouldn't you just be done with the entire legal system after that experience?
Well, you know, her origins, she's not meant to do that sort of lawyering. She was a settlement lawyer, right? Where she
You
just
can
sat in
tell
a
by
room and
the
they negotiated.
you can tell
That's
by her
not
style. She's not
it's
used to doing that.
so Travelers Insurance brought her on board, but she was at the UK trial. So she knew maybe she's better off just as a consultant in the background,
Mhm.
you know? So this is Sarah's brilliant. How long did this take you, Sarah? We're just gonna skim through this and she's gonna
Um,
guide me.
this is a video that's on our channel. I put it up yesterday, I think. It's a blur, but
It's yesterday.
it's what 3.5 hours of Elaine with a little commentary from me in there, silent commentary.
So guide me as you're watching this. Tell me where to go.
I
I
I
think you
sent
get
you.
some timestamps, but I don't know if I'm playing the video.
I'm just playing. I just directed you to a couple things. I would encourage everybody to watch the whole thing because oh God,
Did you watch Benny Hill?
no.
David worked on the musical score in Benny Hill.
Oh, okay. Good job.
Because that's the song you're using.
Mm-hmm.
What made you use Benny Hill if you never watched it?
Because she's a hot mess, and that kind of encompasses everybody who's a hot mess and their antics.
Welcome, Gina Bobina. Welcome. And everybody should watch. Go to Gina's channel. I think. Gina, I think it changed his name, but give it a plug, as it were.
Oh, don't play this.
Good morning, Phil. It's good to see you all again, and
go to
thank you
the
again very
timestamps.
much. Ben told you we will be
You said 2:35
Ish, yeah.
ish. So tell me where I am with it. I know you have this
relying
memorized.
on the evidence.
Overruled
Here?
that one.
Oh no, I have timestamps. You said it doesn't. I have it.
Okay.
Okay, let's go here.
Did Ms. Van Ray come out after that article came in and make a public statement it was false?
Of course. Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I should at least be
Overruled.
Thank you.
Of course she did.
Crypto Nymphazi, Gina. That's the YouTube site. Sounds like a great superhero name. You should copyright that, seriously.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the TMZ alerted. Explain to the jury what you meant by the TMZ was alerted.
Without huffing, Ariana. Is this a good spot?
It's fine.
You said 2:35.
Okay, then there you go.
So when you make these kind of filings, meaning divorce, marriage, things like that, they are public record. And so when I filed for divorce, I asked my team to file in the most discreet way, literally to put it under a stack of papers and file it.
Just her saying literally probably lost 2 jurors. Literally. That's very Garofalo-esque, right?
Mm-hmm. She says a lot of things very strangely, and I'm
You're
one
not
to
an
talk.
intellectual just because you said literally.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of day, so kind of had more of a shot of being missed by the paparazzi and by TMZ and those sorts of publicity outlets. I believe that we had been remarkably lucky following the divorce, that it wasn't picked up, and that it gave me a precious few days of peace at that really fragile time. When I found out that they were going to run the story or that they had the information, I was trying to get a hold of Johnny to clarify that I did not do this in a punitive way. I didn't want him to be mad at me.
Is anybody? Are we glossing over the Kirkland bottled water?
No, don't spoil it.
Oh, okay,
Keep going.
I didn't know what she did.
I didn't want him to find out
Pause.
in that sort of context online.
As my co-host, you're supposed to watch this stuff.
I'm obsessed with Costco and certainly that Kirkland bottle of water. It's transfixed me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you wanted me to stop?
No. I was gonna chastise you for not watching the stuff I put up on our channel.
Well, it's 4 hours. You just put it up last night. You didn't watch Black Mass until last year.
Now you're gonna yell at me instead of the chat. Go ahead.
You're telling me what I'm not watching?
And who had connections to TMZ?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Do you know?
I do know. John and I
Honor.
just spoke about
Your Honor,
it.
calls for speculation.
The objection.
Did Mr. Depp tell you about who had connections with TMZ?
Yes, we talked about it. His lawyer, Laura Wasser.
Okay. Now, I'm going to start at the very beginning here. You were asked by Ms. Vasquez about...
Good call, Sarah. That's your first Vasquez. Do you have all the Vasquezes in there?
Most of them.
Oh, God. This must have taken you forever. Melvin has a question for you, Sarah. Can you say an arrow on the muff?
No.
In Elaine's... Come on, try.
No, I don't know. I got to tap into her brain, and I'm just dead.
Tap into this, Toots.
You tap into this. You tap into this. That's what the boy does.
Why Mr. Depp won't or can't look you in the eye. And she read out, or she played a tape in which Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again." Do you recall that?
Oh, good call by you. You got all the good. You got all.
It's
the
not
fucking
even. It's
highlights.
only starting.
No, I know. I'm already impressed just because I forgot about that.
What I tried to do in this was I had to put the commentary in sometimes. I mean, it's not hilarious. I'm not bragging about my commentary, but I tried to zoom in on things, people in the crowd at certain points, their reactions to what she's saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh God, how funny is G Canada? Look at this hashtag. Hashtag Amber's IQ is higher than arms. You got to tweet that, G Canada. That might be your funniest one yet. I don't know if I like that one or the UK got it right. He's a funny fuck. He's a funny Canuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's a funny.
He annihilated you in the comments.
Oh, he called me an imbecile.
He also
because I said Blue Jackets.
He insulted your
Jackets.
manhood.
Oh, he always does. He's an ultimate emasculator. you know in real life he looks like Andy Dick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Depp won't or can't look you in the eye. And she read out, or she played a tape in which Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again."
I'm sorry.
Depp laughs so loud you can hear him in the court at that.
Depp has a very sly, sophisticated sense of humor. Make no mistake. He has his flaws, but he has a very, very sharp, goofy sense of humor, and he's always up for the joke.
Mm-hmm.
There is a comedian lying deep within him. And that's why he latches on to people like Stanhope and Georgie Jessel.
Recall that?
I do.
And who had connections to TMZ?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Do you know?
I do know. John and I just spoke about it.
Your Honor, calls for speculation.
The objection.
Did Mr. Depp tell you about who had connections with TMZ?
Yes, we talked about it. His lawyer, Laura Wasser.
Okay. Now, I'm going to start at the very beginning here. You were asked by Ms. Vasquez about why Mr. Depp won't or can't look you in the eye. And she read out, or she played a tape in which Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again." Do you recall that?
I do.
And that was during the mediation.
You almost lose the jury by her doing that, and they look at Depp not taking her
It's so
seriously.
unprofessional. They're already, by this point, they're already like, they're feeling for him. They're siding with him after her testimony. This is redirect. This is after that cross-examination is already done. So she's mocking, a victim. You got to know where you're at. Read the room.
Say that again. Read the room.
No, let's go.
Come on. Yeah, Gina. She moved. What's the deal with the Jerusalem thing? That's Sarah.
I don't know. I hope she stays. That's all I know.
She lives everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So she moved with what's her name again? Eve Barlow.
Yeah,
Who's
there's
like
a rumor that they're married now.
She's an Emily Stern super Jew, and one of the rumors was she's converting to Judaism for her.
Good for her.
Why doesn't Eve Barlow convert to Texas Dogfighter or
Texas Natural
or Texas Stripper at Palacios or right? I mean, or call girl.
She
Can
is
she convert?
a hateful bitch on Twitter.
Yeah, but it's entertaining, right? I mean, this is
No,
what.
it's psychotic, and she's calling up her version of the Depp wives, and they are just it's vile.
Yeah, but we love the entertainment, right? We want the, and
I
then what
don't
would
know.
they do
It's
without it?
gotten
What would they
old.
do without? What would? It's gotten old, definitely, definitely. I mean, you say like, what would they do without that drama? They don't know how to resume life without this. If this trial just summarily stopped, they all just parted ways. There was no leaks. There was nothing. There was no bid or anything. They just went and it just stopped. What would they do? Would they accept it?
No.
Process in July, correct?
That was
Objection leading.
first one.
Sustained
Okay.
is leading.
When was this?
That was in July of 2016. That was the first mediation attempt. We met after that, and Johnny very much looked me in the eye.
Johnny.
By the way, that the Elaine the horrible the Depp impression. You know what that is? And it was this. I don't know who. Every when a woman does an impression of a guy, any male, it's always that. They don't even attempt to do it. They just do this kind of Neanderthal aping of any guy. Then it's like when a woman makes fun of her husband or girlfriend makes fun of her boyfriend or your brother or whatever. They do that same. Women do that same impression. Oh, you're not going to see my eyes anymore.
I know, and you sound nothing like that. Yeah.
They all do that same impression. It's
You know that's been clipped.
what's been clipped
What you just did.
by Bon Jovial.
Probably.
See, Melvin and Bon Jovi work as a tag team. They get anytime you have anything they find droppable or clippable, Melvin will write it down. I wish I had Melvin's note. I think I'm super lazy when it comes to like if you have a fairly decent memory, you get lazy as a note taker. You stop writing stuff down, and it is by no means is my memory usurp Melvin's note taking abilities. So that's a great skill to have in life. Is that you're constantly writing notes or bullet points. Or that was George Carlin's comedian advice. He's like, if you have any my only flat advice to any aspiring comedian would be if you have any musings or thoughts when you drive, have a piece of paper with you at all times and write it down. No matter what it is, flesh it out, try it, whatever, because it ain't going to come back. You're going to forget it. Always, I think it's the flattest, best comedy advice I think I've ever heard anybody give. Not just be funny. Talent's one thing, but if you could just you probably do that. You have these musings you have, and you wish you wrote it down, and that moment leaves, and it's never coming back.
Of course.
Melvin seizes every opportunity. He leaves nothing, no matter what it is.
Please tell the jury about the next meeting after he said you will not see my eyes again.
We met in the lawyer's office. They gave us a moment.
David, that's brilliant. Amber is the Kirkland Scarlett Johansson. How perfect is that? With the Johansson accent, Scarlett Joe Kirkland. David, that's brilliant.
Moment. Johnny kissed me again, held me. I cried, he cried, and then we had a short exchange, and he put a note in my pocket that said, "I'll love you dead or alive, my Slim," with his new phone number on it.
I'd like to bring up, Michelle, if you can, defendants.
NA's calling me a whataboutism. That you said something. What about Black Mass? You didn't see that. I did do a what about. He's right. I'm guilty. We all do whatabouts. Arm can't see my comments anymore. He blocked me for making fun of his zero knowledge of the NHL. You're in the penalty box, G Canada. You're blocked.
Exhibit 1581L.
Dorian, look at Sara.
I know, you keep pausing.
Amber Dorian Morgan says Amber is the type to pronounce importantly instead of importantly until a voice coach corrects her. That's so good. It's like with government, you don't pronounce the N. You hit that T. It sounds very pretentious. And look at this. So look at this. Sara isolates and zooms in on the Kirkland water bottle. I mean, her people had to go to Costco, right? In the area, in North Virginia, in Fairfax. Is there a Fairfax Costco?
I don't know.
And her car?
I'll look up the locator so I can check the
let her in
hours.
without a car? Does she get a chicken bake?
No, it's too many carbs.
Do you think she just used the bottle and refilled it with the Fairfax tap water?
There's
from
a
the
mix
water
in
fountain?
there. She's using some type of vitamin mix or something.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that too. You're right.
I'm sorry? Oh. Do you recognize this?
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah, I'm at 238. You want me to jump ahead or
Just
stay?
keep going a little bit, yeah.
You muted here. What'd you use, Sky, or did you use
Sky,
Lawn
but
Crime?
I go back and forth in the video.
I thought as a whole, Lawn Crime had, because they would show both. They would show a split screen for a lot of it. I think that's kind of the best way to watch it.
Well, you
We
gotta
couldn't
deal with
do it because we were
copyright.
getting strikes, and if I had my druthars, I would have left it on Lawn Crime. Yeah, they said that. I mean, I have. We haven't gotten to that yet. I have an interview with Chu and Vasquez, and they said that they felt the jury was freaked out by her staring.
Could you tell the jury what the coaster was that he slipped into your pocket, what it said?
He said, "I love you forever, my Slim, dead or alive."
And what, if anything, did it have in addition?
His new phone number.
And to be, just so we're clear,
Sorry, Gungadin, you beat me to it. Amber is so broke she's using faucet water in the Kirkland bottle. Good call, Gungadin. You beat me to it in the chat. I didn't see that.
how many occasions in that second mediation did Mr. Depp look you in the eye?
Many.
Okay. And when Ms. Vasquez asked you
Again.
if you knew why Mr. Depp couldn't or wouldn't look you in the eye here or in the UK, you said, yes, you, Mr. Depp, look you in the eye.
Many.
Okay. And when Ms. Vasquez asked you if...
So phonetically, Sarah, you have it as V-A-Z. You could do Q, yeah, I guess K-W-E-Z. Vasquez. That's the Minnesota pronunciation. That's so good. Why were we the only ones to fixate on that? I think it's ridiculous. I think you are an accomplished lawyer. She's been doing this for a long time. Vasquez is a very, very common Hispanic name.
She's
probably in the top 10.
She's very
Popular-
white.
Yeah, but that's just inexcusable.
Minnesota white.
And she also has a legal team working with her that can't correct her on the. I'm not nitpicking. That is ridiculous. She can't pronounce that last name. It's not. It's not. It's like saying Antetokounmpo. It's fucking Vasquez. It's been, and it's again top 10 most popular Hispanic names. You can't get that right. It looks senile to the jury. That little shit like that turns them off. I'm not. Am I overdoing it with that? I really think
A little.
It's just no. It's someone with a legal degree.
I get
How
it,
much
but
school
her
she
legal
can't pronounce
degree,
Vasquez?
obviously, in this video, 3 hours and 40 minutes, her legal degree means nothing in terms of her intellectual level.
Eve Ben 4810. Eve Barlow is currently in Sydney, Australia, showing off walking in Bondi Beach and Doc Martens. That's like walking on Santa Monica Beach with duck boots.
If you knew why Mr. Depp couldn't or wouldn't look you in the eye here or in the UK, you said, yes, you know. Why? Please tell the jury why.
Because he's guilty. Because he knows he's lying.
Oh, it's bad.
Otherwise, why can't he look at me? I survived. I survived that man, and I'm here, and I'm able to look at him.
She's so bad.
Where's Bobby the Brain Heenan right now, Sarah, with what she said, survive, and all the rest
Asking her questions.
Survive! 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 Remember when Bobby the Brain Heenan did a chant for the Survivor Series?
No.
With all his stable?
Thank you. You were asked about a bruise that was on your arm from March 15, 2013. Do you recall how long before the picture you had sustained that bruise?
I do.
How long?
2 weeks.
You were asked a number of times by Ms. VASQWEZ if you took pictures from your incidents earlier in the relationship.
Yes.
Why didn't you?
It was something I started doing only kind of incidental.
Good callback, NA.
You're
This
pausing at the wrong
sophisticated
moments.
Do you direct me? You're giving me this vague timestamps. You don't tell me. Then you huff if I verify it with you where the timestamp is. So you direct me, miss. Exactly where am I going? You said 2:35. You said 2:45. I'm going to that. Then you huff if it's not. You're being persnickety. And you don't give me any effing specific timestamps, and now you giving me the Ariana Huffington along with it. There's
Okay.
your rant, Melvin. Sorry. Does Depp's sophisticated sense of humor include the skeleton joke? The Al Pacino callback. Yeah, he's kind of mocking, I think, Al Pacino. NA. He's not going to admit it, but he's mocking him for a very kind of old school hacky joke that someone. I think Al's 80 now. All right, Sarah, I'm going to go back 10
You
seconds.
were asked about a bruise that was on your arm from March 15, 2013. Do you recall how long before the picture you had sustained that bruise?
I do.
How long?
2 weeks.
You were asked a number of times by Ms. VASQWEZ if you took pictures from your incidents earlier in the relationship.
Yes.
Why didn't you?
It was something I started doing only kind of incidentally. You know, I was commenting to my best friend. I was looking for support from my mom, things like that. There was, I'm ashamed to say, never a thought that this would happen. I mean, not until December and my best friend taking pictures of me to capture it. That wasn't even a thing.
It has been suggested by Ms. VASQWEZ to you in your questions that you didn't tell anyone about the abuse until the TRO. Is that true?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
All right. What if any? All right. Who did you tell about the abuse during the time it was happening?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
It's not offered to.
And hearsay.
Sustained.
Your Honor, it's prior consistent statements.
It's leading. It's sustained. Next question.
Okay. What, if anything, did you tell to anyone about the abuse?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain.
Your Honor, may I approach?
That's fine.
She's traveling the Coachella circuit. Oh, God, it's good call, Hooper. She looks dejected there, Sarah. She looks like she's about to burst into tears, like real tears.
She's never dejected.
She looks less sociopathic there, more just sullen and melancholy.
Ms. Heard,
Dead eyes, though.
how many people have you shared the fact of abuse prior to 2015?
Objection, Your Honor, leading. Calls for hearsay.
How many?
Overruled that one.
Roughly about 10.
Okay. Can you name them?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I think she can. It's not offered. It's just to show that she informed people before. They're suggesting.
Objection, Your Honor. Can we approach? This is, again.
Who's got a better eye roll, Huff, you or Ms. VASQWEZ?
I don't know. You don't know what my eye roll looks like.
You have. I think you have an eye roll that rivals Depp in season 4 of 21 Jump Street, as you said, with him having 9 toes out the door, which is a brilliant line.
I did a few minutes ago, but I'm good now.
An eye roll?
I had a few.
No, but I think you and I roll every 10 seconds. I just assume you're rolling your eyes all the time. Nobody is sarcastic, relentlessly sarcastic as you, doesn't not roll their eyes. You sound like you're rolling your eyes if there ever was an intonation. They were trying to impeach Johnny because he did look her in the eyes again. The good news.
Now, you were asked whether you had consulted a medical doctor about any problems with your nose, correct?
That's correct.
And you indicated that you, in fact, had after the divorce,
Objection leading.
Did you?
What do you think, Sarah? What Y.68 says? The good news for Amber, she'll get put on shows as a goof. The check will cash. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Absolutely, Y. I've said this all the time. Her infamy now will usurp any fame she has as a working movie actress. I think she's going to get a reality show. I think some crazy producer at one of the streaming services is going to say, hey, reunite with your grifter friends, the Coachella con artists. Here's a reality show. Let's follow Amber and Eve Barlow around. Somebody will give it to you, and you will watch, and I will too. And
I think she's just going to spend a lot of time on the feminist speaking tour, the circuit, and the feminist speaking Chitlin tour.
You don't think she's getting offers?
No. And for anything big, no. She's always going to be able to go and show up and spout her nonsense, but
in all fairness, though,
what she's limited to for a while.
Amber is every woman, says G Canada. We go to Costco every week together. We eat hot dogs and we make fun of our. Do they have Costco's in Canada? I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's just, I don't know. I thought it was exclusive to the U.S. I mean, I think they do. I don't know for a fact.
Do they have electricity in Canada?
Do they have their own? Maybe they have their own version. Maybe they have something better than we do.
I only say that
all
because
about bulk.
I only say that because there are plenty of Canadians in this chat that make fun of Oregon for barely having Wi-Fi. So
Canada is got it going on. They have very superior people coming out of there. They have a lot to brag about. If it's Alpha Flight or G Canada himself or Gina Bobina.
Did you or did you not consult a ENT after the divorce?
Objection leading.
Okay. Did you produce?
Rooster's quoting the Bonnie monologue. You have that in the beginning, right?
Yeah, that's in the beginning.
The Elaine Bredehoft monologue. Amber was not born rich. She grew up on a ranch. She rode the bus when she came to Los Angeles to be an actress.
Medical records to the defendants relating to this.
Objection leading calls.
I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you.
Oh, Dorian, you're so right. You know that went on at the front door. You're asking for my Costco card. Don't you know who I am? Costco is harder to get into than Leavenworth.
No, you just sidecar someone when they're walking in.
Nice use of sidecar, Sarah.
Leading. Next question.
Your Honor, if we could, witness could be instructed not to answer until I've lodged my objection.
Wait for the objection, please.
Could we bring up Defendant's Exhibit 1077?
1077.
Do you recognize this document?
My screen is black.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
Yes, I do.
And could you tell us what it is?
That's what my ENT, the ears, nose, and throat doctor, told me was.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right. When there's objection, please stop talking. Thank you. All right. I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay.
Okay.
Like I said, Camille, look at that adorable face, Melvin, right? Melvin, you get to wake up to that every day. Lucky you. Camille objects faster than Fred Norris answers the questions on win Fred's money when the answer's a fix as he goes second and has the answers predetermined. Fred will answer the question faster than Camille objects. Or who is faster?
what, if any, you were asked if you had, it was suggested that you had not produced this in discovery. Is that true? Or false?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Your Honor, she absolutely did that.
It's leading. It's leading question, though. I'll sustain the objection as to leading.
What, if anything, did you do to produce medical records to the defendant, to the plaintiff in this case?
I turned over all of my devices, and they had Johnny's team had a third party or someone they selected as a third party go and pull all relevant documents from those devices, which I handed over.
Do you know how many were handed over?
Hundreds of thousands, I believe.
They said they deliberately chose, and I guess we'll get to that in another day. I have the interview with Chu and Ms. Vasquez, that they chose Jessica Myers to examine Depp on the for a reason. It was some kind of, they had rehearsed it.
They just had a better connection, apparently.
They had a better connection, right. And you don't realize that the preparation that goes into this, and I think Depp actually trained with them.
My only problem with Jessica Myers was when Rottenborn would object, she never fought back.
I agree.
Oh, we can move on. No.
I would use the Melvin philosophy in court if I were I would channel my anger. I would try to keep like you would do in any performance kind of thing. They say even in sports you play better when you're angry. Not all sports, basketball and football you do. You play better when you're. No better basketball effort for me than when I'm playing angry. When someone puts a chip on your shoulder, or I told you that story when AC Green got the stupid poser idiot Laker fans, because the Lakers are on national TV virtually all 82 games, voted AC Green as a starting forward in 1990 for the All-Star game. Karl Malone was not. So it put a chip on Malone's shoulder in a way. He's already been dominating. Malone scored the very next game against Milwaukee 61 points in 32 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. I'd say good for Malone, but I think about his creepy personal history, and I'm thrown off by that.
What's Deshaun Watson get? What was the sentence? What did the NFL
11
give him?
games.
Okay.
I'm not defending him. He put himself in that situation. Karl Malone put himself in that situation by getting with a 13-year-old and impregnating her.
Like Kobe Bryant in Denver?
Oh my God. What about?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
Okay. All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
And what, if anything, did you produce to the plaintiff in connection with your
Didn't Jerome Kersey get a rape charge in 1992?
Let's keep going.
Okay. With a 15-year-old?
You're so jealous.
consultation with an ENT specialist relating to your nose?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
Foundation, hearsay.
What if anything? It's not the cure-all. It's sustained.
I kept it on Camille.
When did you see an ENT?
Ben raises a good question here. It's for astounding and bad performance by Amber. Thank God this was televised. How is a good what if this isn't televised? There's a lot of elements that change in this. One of them is the courts would be flooded probably exponentially more than they already were with fans and people trying to get shots and see what's going on. Exponentially. I mean, I would go with 10 times the people would have flooded that area. It would have been a problem. It would have been a huge problem. They would have had to go nuts with security and cops and everything because you wouldn't know shit. I'm trying to think of the one of the points Amber had, which I think is not a bad point, is the jury, I think, is and should be super duper intimidated by his legions of fans that were outside when they're leaving. And they say, if it gets out that I'm the one who voted against him, I'm done. I'm dead. This is what's waiting. There's just this.
You think so?
Pitchforks and torches. Yeah. If not, you see how they are online.
You need to give them a little more credit.
The one person who voted against him, and that name got out.
Do you really think
they would be endlessly harassed? You are crazy.
Do you think you could really sit there like they did every day through all those video depositions? the most damning was her testimony and not make the, not present the verdict that they did.
Yeah, you just made my point about him leaving on the last day.
What?
The jury has to suffer through this whole thing. They wait till the last day, till 5 o'clock. Depp just takes off on the last day, and they're going, oh, I guess this isn't the fight of his life. He's not even here to see the verdict. We have to stay till the last minute. We've suffered through this whole thing. We had to be here till 5 o'clock. I'm getting $40. This guy gets to play some just poser throwaway rock and roll tour with Jeff Beck, which is pre-booked in advance. I guess you're not canceled if you have an entire European tour pre-booked and you haven't even, the verdict hasn't even been read yet. You don't think the jury would get surly looking at that? He didn't have, he didn't take the time to appreciate everybody that fought in that trial, the quote unquote fight of my life to get my life and career back. I'm not going to be there for the verdict.
I don't recall any of them coming forward afterwards and saying that bothered them after they
the jury hasn't spoken about anything.
Well, one came forward, but they stayed anonymous. I don't even buy that was a real juror, but it apparently didn't affect it.
You are very cynical. You're very down to earth.
No, I'm realistic.
2017 or 2016 or 17.
And as a result of that consultation, what did you learn about your nose?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'm not asking her to tell what they said.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection.
We're almost at the finale of this.
Lauren Marie goes, my blood boils when I see disposable plastic bottles, fast food plastic cups, and plastic straws. Modern scourge on the planet. Get a reliable bottle, Amber. It's such a great rant, Lauren. Get a, I'm sorry, refillable. An actual, Lauren wants there's a zillion like refillable, but Lauren wants a reliable, and I had the one now with like where the ice never melts. There's a zillion refillable bottles you can get.
What's on the side of that cup that you're drinking from?
The side of it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean the side of it?
I already know because you told me earlier. What's on the side of that cup you're drinking from right now?
A Steeler emblem?
How dare you?
When did you become a Browns fan? 3 years ago when they got Mayfield, and now you hate them?
4
and now
years ago.
You're making fun of my Steeler fandom, which has been prominent since the late 70s when I was a little kid, a baby.
Oh, good for you. Choo choo. There's the self-congratulatory train coming through.
No, I admit it was very, very fashionable to become. That was very easy to become a Steeler fan. They're very successful, and
it's like saying I'm a Laker fan.
It probably would be considered bandwagon-y at the end, but I stuck through them. The Frank Pollard and Walter Abercrombie and Bubby Brister year, Mark Malone. So I've proven myself. It is very. There was such a cool factor to those the Bradshaw, Franco Harris, and Mean Joe Greene teams. But I do admit that it's a thing a little kid does, like the Cowboy fans out there, and. But I think I've proven myself. Unlike you.
Such a dick.
What, if any, production did you make to the plaintiffs?
Is that Sal Governale on Elaine's left? Our
no.
Right?
Of your medical records with the ENT?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
If you only have foundation.
Do you know whether the medical records?
You see the black guy who was trying to figure out who it was, Sarah? He was not on the legal team. He was just like an advisor. Mm-hmm. He was when he huddled up in the end when they did when they kind of, celebrated. And Depp was in with Jeff Beck and the last day. And the black guy was huddling up with him. And I don't know his name, but he is part of their legal team in some way, research or just someone who helped them out. I don't know what his name is though. I tried to find it and I didn't really look hard enough, but we could probably find out if we really, really delved.
From your EMT were produced in discovery.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation calls for speculation.
I'm asking.
Overruled if she knows.
Thank you.
Yes.
What's up with the cheeks officially, Sarah? Implants or just make up some weird Amber cheeks? Affy asks.
I think it's implants.
Rooster
But she got
says
him in
I'm,
like 2018.
I'm having PTSD episodes watching this.
Well,
He's
we're
been
almost
watching.
done.
No, I think we're having fun.
And do you recall?
Tracy,
I'm trying. What, if anything, did the medical records?
This is just a little nerd fact about the grifting lawyers that try to latch on to this with their super chats. The guy on Elaine's right, Sarah's DUI guy.
Yeah.
So he's a lawyer who specializes in drunk driving stuff.
I guess, I don't know.
So he tried to latch on to this with his YouTube channel. And what was the drama? He got kicked out of the Legal Bites team because he laughed at something. They saw him laughing and they
thought
it
his
was
reaction was inappropriate during the
so
TMZ
retarded.
guys.
Oh,
Testimony.
Who are you to judge this guy? Like
I
the
know.
whole place laughed.
I know.
How sanctimonious bullshit
I
is
can't. That's
that?
why I can't watch Legal Bites. She's the one that kicked him off. But I can't. It's so Pollyanna. I need that's why I go to Ricada. He's
Biased and
sarcastic.
Pollyanna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy. He reminds me of Greg Fitzsimmons. He sounds like him. He's got the same.
Yeah, he's featured in the long form of this video as well.
Reflect about your nose.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Do you have injuries to your nose?
Yes.
Please describe those to the jury.
I have
I'm going to
a bunch of scar
object
tissue.
I'm going to object to the extent it calls for hearsay and lack of foundation
Overruled.
and improper expert opinion.
Well,
She can certainly testify too.
we'll see where it goes. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a significant amount of scar tissue in my nose.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
What, if any,
NA says Elaine will land her Timberwolf Paws, a judge show on daytime tea, giving folksy Minnesota rules. That's what they do, and you fail up in this culture. You reward infamy. Would not surprise me that OJ trial, this is right on par with. How many gigs did those lawyers get?
I know. Marsha
All
Clark
over the
still hasn't
place.
left my life.
They're still talking about him.
difficulty do you have breathing?
Objection, leading.
What, if anything? And that does cure on
No,
it.
it doesn't. But I'll overrule the objection.
Thank you. Do you remember the question?
I have a significant amount of trouble breathing at night, and I've been putting off having surgery for it.
Costco's are in Walmart. Costco's are in Canada. G Canada and Gina will be in a confirm. They are pro. I bet they started there too. I wonder what the first Costco I had on Long Island was Lake Grove, New York, across the street from the Smith Haven Mall. I believe the year was 1990, and it was like that food court just blew me away. That was the goal: get the swirl frozen yogurt from the food court and the pizzas. I make my own pizza in every way, shape, and form. I love their pizza. I don't know what it is. They do something to it you cannot simulate at home.
Amount of cheese.
And their hot dogs, obviously. John O'Reilly will confirm. Uh-oh. Super takes a shot at Oregon here.
That's all right. I know better.
You were asked about December 15th.
Hey, Gina, I bet you Elaine is super nice. She did come across as super nice. And the pro-Depp side, which is most people, should be happy that she chose her and she was the lawyer. I mean, we get to goof on her. She butchered the trial. Do you want Amber having a more capable, adept legal team? You know what I mean? Like, what's the alternative is what? To have a team that beats him? Do you want him losing? So we make fun of them and we act like And I'm just talking about, I'm talking about the whole community of just ripping on her. And she's a low-hanging fruit. She's very easy to goof on. And she does come across as probably a very nice woman if you spoke to her. I'm sure she is. But again, the alternative is having a super, super duper legal team that beats him. And would you rather have that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the alternative. They act like, this is like we're angry that her legal team was inept and did a bad job. But that's what you want. You should be happy. You should be. The alternative is what they're going for now with this new team, which we'll get into, I guess, after this.
In 2015, and Ms. VASQWEZ suggested that you did not report the abuse or the injuries to Aaron Filati. Do you recall that
Objection,
question?
Your Honor. Leading.
Your Honor, I'm entitled to go into what Ms. VASQWEZ asked.
The objection is leading. I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
This is so.
Did you report?
You almost feel bad for her.
WYDAT68 is from Kentucky, I might add. Great to have a fellow. Have you been to Murray, Kentucky, my alma mater? WYDAT. Tons of great people out of that. You got George Clooney, Jennifer Lawrence, obviously Depp, and Casey Armstrong, Western Kentucky. Rex Chapman, by the way. Any NBA heads, Rex Chapman, the white two-guard, is from the same town Depp is, Owensboro, Kentucky. Kind of looks like him sometimes, too. Same gap tooth and soul patch. And he reminded me of Depp when he first hit the scene. That's kind of weird. When I first saw him at Kentucky Wildcat, as a Kentucky Wildcat.
What, if anything, did you report to Aaron Filati about the abuse you sustained on 12/15/2015?
Objection, leading and hearsay.
Approach.
Explain to G Canada. Doesn't Paul Allen literally own all of Oregon?
Well, he's dead. And when he was alive, he owned more in Washington than he did in Oregon. But he owns his family owns the Portland Trail Blazers.
And?
The Seahawks, but that's Washington.
Does he own the Kraken as well, that new hockey team?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But Jody Allen is running both teams into the ground, so hopefully she sells soon. But Phil Knight from Nike owns a lot more than Paul Allen ever did. And Phil Knight is trying to buy the Blazers, and she won't sell because she's a moron.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Kirkland water tastes better from any bottled water. It actually has more hydrogen and oxygen molecules than normal water does, Ben, as Costco has to pack it in bulk. They say, the pizza thing. I think it's an old wives' tale. I think it's bullshit. I think old guineas from New York, that the water is why the dough in New York. You can make dough anywhere, any state. So they said that if you're superstitious about it, you can use Nestle bottled water. Simulates New York water the best to make pizza dough. I swear to God. Did you ever hear that, Sarah?
Yes, I think you've said it.
Yes. So Nestle has their own bottled water, and apparently that simulates New York water the closest.
Did you tell Nurse Filati on 12/16/2000?
Is Chanley Painter, another one Melvin's obsessed with, direct in the orange behind Bredehoft from Court TV.
15 about the injuries you sustained from the 12/15/2015 attack?
I did. I believe I sent her pictures too.
Okay. And did you text with Nurse Filati on 12/16/2015 about the injuries that you had suffered as a result of Mr. Depp's attack?
Rooster Sideburns has a great question here, Sarah. Do you think would world feminist organizations be desperate enough at this point to have Amber still speak for them?
Mm-hmm.
Or has that off the table now?
Any name that they can get, and she's still a hero
to
them, of course.
Probably right.
On you on 12/15.
Yes, she guided me through a concussion check.
NA wants to know with the shampoo and that Camille. What's the deal with you broads and shampoo, Sarah? How often are you supposed to shampoo your
Saying her hair is dry.
She needs, but what's the deal with shampoo and broads?
We wash our hair.
Are you supposed to every day? What's the deal with that? Is it
No,
every
you're
once
not
a week?
supposed
Is
to,
it?
but some of us have hair that needs to be washed every day, and it's disgusting
Are
if
you
you
humble
don't.
bragging about how lustrously thick your hair
I have
is?
great hair. That's the best part about me. My hair is wonderful.
You deserve to have great hair, if anyone does. Do you do anything to cultivate it with vitamins or anything like that?
Biotin. I use biotin
Okay.
shampoo and conditioner.
Is that vitamin D essentially?
I don't know.
Biotin?
I don't know. It's vitamin biotin. I don't know.
So you use a conditioner, and what else do you do?
There's an olive oil conditioner I use once in a while, like maybe once every 2 weeks. Oh my God, what else do I do? I rarely brush my hair because it's long.
Oh, wow.
So when you brush it, hair comes out, and that always bugs me because I don't want to lose my hair, because without that, I'm nothing. So I will brush it maybe when I'm working. I'll brush it, of course, in the morning before I go to work, but at weekends I never brush it.
I mean, you can't give advice because you're so genetically blessed that you have to have your genetics, right? In order
yes,
to
and G Canada, I'm very honest about the bra size.
give your opinion on, before we get back, Depp, hair plugs or not? What has he had done?
I
Has
don't
to have
think so.
some kind of
I don't think he has
extensions,
hair
or
plugs.
he is the best money can buy. I have a friend who had accused him of hair plugs back in the late 90s because he saw a radical inconsistency in his hairline. And I don't know where I stand. I got to keep it. There was a time, I remember when the Fear and Loathing, it went from Fear and Loathing to like Blow, and his hair grew like 16 inches in 2 weeks, which was impossible. Like, how did he go from shaving his head? Like, it made no sense. So the last time or something. So there's something going on. I would have thought in the trial some vanity secrets would have leaked out. That I was hoping that would happen. That she would blow up his hair spot. I was hoping. And that's the job. Look, I'm not even, I could care less. That's the job. He's an actor. You're supposed to look a different way. You're supposed to fuck with your look and your hair. I don't care if he gets a nose job. I don't care if whatever helps. He's a chameleon, and an insecure one at that. So that's the job. But I have no evidence other than sheer observation and speculation in the ever evolving Depp hairline.
Yeah. I don't see it. If he has hair plugs, he has the greatest hair plug job in the world.
Well, he would be the guy who has the best money can buy. That's my point.
Yeah.
Whatever the best system is now, and I'm sure the Howard jokes will be flying here. Ridiculous his look, but Depp looks like if the way he has his hair with the fucking ponytail here is exposing every single bit of it.
That's what I'm basing it off of. That's why I don't think so. I think he has a good hairline for being 60.
After he goes, I'd wear a chastity belt if Kobe was staying at my hotel that I worked at.
And did you tell Connell Cowan about the injuries you sustained?
Obstruction, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Almost done, folks. I promise.
It's prior consistent statements, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to sustain the objection at this point. Next question.
Do you recall Dr. Laurel Anderson testifying that she saw two black eyes
Objection,
on
Your Honor.
12/17?
Leading.
Sustain as to leading.
Okay. What, if anything, do you recall from Laurel Anderson's testimony in this case about what she observed on 12/17/2015?
Objection, Your Honor. This is outside the scope of cross-examination.
It's prior consistent statement.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
It's observation.
Who's that? Carl Winslow over there? Says Affy's. We need a Depp trial reunion. That's going to happen, Rooster. I'm telling you. A trial reunion show one day. That's going to definitely happen. There's no question. They can't resist that. Right, Sarah?
I would love to have them on this show, but it'll never happen.
And it's for the 12/17, the same day.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
May I?
She's over it.
Okay.
Their mics are horrible. In that
When
courtroom.
in December did you see Dr. Laurel Anderson?
Objection, lack of
Hooper says it's foundation. You know how much he knows about foundation in the William Floyd Parkway. Good call by Hooper, or no? I know nothing about makeup. I don't have Monique's Fashion Institute of tech skills.
All I know is her cheekbone contouring is horrific.
foundation.
Overruled. I saw her 2 days after the attack.
So on what day did you see her then?
That would have been the 17th of December, 2016, and I told her what happened.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
And when did you see Dr. Connell Cowan?
I saw him the next day, December.
Babs the Rush feels nose problems equal coke problems. A lot of people were all over that stuff, the sniff it with her, and what was it, Sarah? She took what seemed to be a bump. She's not bringing coke on the stand with her.
No, she didn't, but I think she was sniffing like a Vicks or something like that. I think she was
People
desperate
were
to
really
squeeze out a
running
tear.
with that coke theory.
Well, that's the stuff they cling
Wishful
to. Like they
thinking.
clinged way too hard to the shit in the bed.
Yes. Melvin wants to know that, Sarah, you and him have a mutual crush on Chanley Painter.
No, I don't.
16th is my best recollection.
I'm trying.
Let's jump to East Asia for a moment. And we saw a number of pictures from the backless dress. What, if any, motivation would you have to claim that Mr. Depp was kneeling on your back, knowing you had a backless dress?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading,
I can bring
calls for
that up.
speculation.
It's still leading. I'll sustain the objection.
Look at that eye roll. Sarah, who's got a better eye roll, you or Camille?
I don't know.
With the huffing, look at
Well,
that.
she's being paid more than me, so.
Oh my God. It's such a great technique by her to do that, though. It's so reductive, and it just sucks the life out of. And I'm sure they're instructed to do that, and they train to do this and stuff. When you huff an eye roll like that, it got to suck the life out of Elaine when she's in the middle of an examination.
Well, Elaine counter huffs constantly, so.
I can speak from experience. Huffing sucks the life out of you. It does. And I think it works. I think that is a trained technique they use.
I know. I'm sure I'll hear about it after the show.
Okay.
Look, Sarah, I'm just breaking your balls a little bit, okay?
Until after the show. Save me, everyone.
I'm just busting your balls a little bit.
Call a hotline to help me, please.
Why did you say that Mr. Depp was kneeling on your back in East Asia?
In the closet of the hotel room in Tokyo, I said that because it happened to me, and it would have been much more convenient.
Thank you, Rooster. Rooster says, I'm happy she was chosen and not mad. They did a bad job. LOL. Thank you, sir. That confirms what I theory. To complain about her, which people were doing. People were screaming, Sarah. You watched all the grifters complaining, oh, she's fucking terrible. She's fucking ridiculous. God, who taught her? All the grifting. Yet that you love that she sucks. First of all, it makes you look better. That's all you really care about is the schadenfreude nature of it. And then you obviously want Depp to win. So what the fuck are you complaining about?
Yeah,
shut
exactly.
up.
If Rottenborn had been
Take everyone's $50 super chats and shut the fuck up.
50, that's nothing.
Well, I'm just throwing out the.
If I was making it up to not include that detail, knowing I had a backless dress and I walked a press line and got photographed.
And while I'm at it, name the cast of The Astronaut's Wife. You can't. You don't deserve to cover this on any level.
Now,
Rooster says New York water has copepods in it. I've never heard that word in my life, Rooster, but I believe it. Have you heard what copepods is, Sarah?
Are those rat turds?
Is it?
Maybe.
I've heard that too. I've heard that a lot about.
Is that also
water.
the solidification of bum piss?
I lived in New York. I don't get it. I've lived in the city. I lived in Long Island. I felt like Long Island's water was better than New York City. And by the way, all the great pizza makers migrated to Long Island, so they don't even live in the city anymore.
Well, they
That's
refuse
the
to
old
leave
New
New
York.
York, so they have to go somewhere they can maybe afford.
Yes. In defense, New York water comes from the Adirondack watershed. It's pretty good tap water. Thank you, Hooper. Gina,
We've
does her hair
heard
3 times a week.
testimony about
She's
Mr. Depp
3 times a week.
making a total of $65 million in 2015 and 2016 from his experts.
Objection, Your Honor.
Why did
Leading,
I haven't asked the question yet.
hearsay, I mean,
Why did you not ask for $32.5 million from Mr. Depp?
Your Honor, leading.
I've been showering Gina 4 times a day the last few weeks, and 2 of the showers is simply just to get it to cool off. So I'll take 2 cold showers a day in addition to 2 regular showers. She says body shower daily. It just makes me, I don't know, it washes the depression off of me. I just feel better. When I'm in a rut, I just jump in the shower.
I said, why did you not ask?
Relevant.
I'll sustain the objection. Sustain the objection to leading.
You see that quote Sarah Melvin has on you?
Nothing but truth.
I have great. Melvin loves Melvin would be great, like in Us magazine with the celebrity quotes like that. I have great hair. That's the best part about me. Sarah.
No, I have droopy eyes. I have Britney Spears eyes.
Some people like that.
Droopy backwoods eyes.
Backwater eyes, Louisiana eyes.
Backwoods eyes.
You have Dan Schneider eyes?
No, I don't know anything.
That's Jamie. That's Jamie Lynn Spears.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, where is and the drugs, the drugs, the drugs, and the drugs, and the drugs. Oh, and the drugs. What point in the video is that?
That's her closing.
That's her closing.
Actually, no, that's the opening.
That was her opening.
Mm-hmm.
Where in your video is it, though? It doesn't have to be in order.
At the beginning.
It's kind of giving me problems. I gotta put it back.
No, we can move. Let's move on to something
No, I
else.
want the drugs and the drugs and the drugs.
I don't know what point that's at.
Is it towards the end?
No, it's at the beginning in her opening statement.
Why are you
That for 15 had altered that to Wine Forever after he broke up with WINO.
Is it before this or after Wine for?
That's for flipping the tattoo. I don't remember. I don't have it
She took care
scripted.
of her family with what she made. When she met Johnny Depp in 2009, when he hired her for Rum Diaries to star across from him, she felt like she was pretty successful. She'd starred in some roles. She had an apartment. She had a vehicle, a Mustang. She could go to Star.
You're getting compliment on your eyes from Hooper.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mask video you have. I think that's what he's going on. Oh no,
That's the only thing he could go on.
You're not going to thank him for the compliment, or?
I did. I said thank you, but I don't think I said thank you, but I said I have backwoods eyes.
Isn't that Can't You Hear Me Knocking song by the Rolling Stones? You have cocaine eyes.
I don't know that song.
It's in the beginning.
I don't like the Rolling Stones.
I think they're overrated too, and they stole from old blues guys. But the opening to the movie Blow, they used "Can't You Hear Me Knocking." You knew that, right?
No.
Remember they opened.
I probably zoned out because I'm waiting for him to come on screen.
Okay. He comes right away. He's the first thing you see. He pats Max Perlich on the ass. He goes, "Dooley, good job. Go get him, Dooley." Remember when they're loading the plane?
Mm-hmm.
In the very beginning?
She gave a bunch of it back to her parents. She started helping support them. Then when Whitney graduated from high school, she brought her out to L.A. and put a roof over her house and put.
Did I ever tell you that story about the Rolling Stones at a press conference? It's Keith Richards, and the media. One of them asked him, "Is it true now? Your career is so long and storied, and you've done everything. But is it true you guys have never donated or played any charity concert whatsoever?" And they kind of bust, which is, I guess, was true certainly at the time. And then Richards goes, "Oh, come on now, come on! You're gonna ask me that question now." And Richards just he scoffed at it in that same way that you see the Jack Sparrow. "Oh, come on!"
Put her through community college. She took care of her family with what she made. When she met Johnny Depp in 2009, when he hired her for Rum Diaries to star across from him, she felt like she was pretty successful. She'd starred in some roles. She had an apartment. She had a vehicle, a Mustang. She could go to Starbucks.
Gina Bobina says to you, Sarah, if you knew then what you know now about your hair, how would you have done stuff differently?
I was able to, because I lost a lot of hair after I lost a lot of weight.
Right.
So ever since then, I have been neurotic about my hair and the caring of it. So literally falling out in my hand. But yeah, I don't know. That's what
You could
kind
give a
of got me
master
on this
class
track.
on follicular comebacks. Right? Doesn't happen for everybody,
Sure.
especially guys.
Starbucks. She could afford Starbucks. She viewed herself as doing pretty well at that point. Now, during the Rum Diaries, she got to know Mr. Depp.
She got killed for that Starbucks line. That somehow that's the height of making it, is that you can afford a Starbucks. Gets a bad rap. I was drinking Starbucks for a long time. You get this massive 24-ounce coffee, and it was the last time I got it, it was $2.30 or something like that. Now that's a big coffee, and it's very strong. It's very strong. I'm somewhat a coffee aficionado in terms of I'm a very regular coffee drinker. When I have Starbucks, it is Adderall. It takes you to another level. I think it's way stronger. I think it's really good. It gets kind of a bad rap. I don't find it to be inefficiently expensive. I bought, even when the balls in my ass, I still bought it and didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, I haven't been to a Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, so I don't give a shit about coffee. But last time I went to Starbucks was like 4 jobs ago, and I bought an egg salad sandwich for like $5, and that's ridiculous.
You're the one. You're the one who buys those stupid sandwiches.
Well, a group at work went out to lunch, and that's where they went, unfortunately.
Are you caffeinated at all? You just wake up and plunge
I take caffeine pills.
Okay. Yeah, I don't trust that, but I get headaches if I don't have proper caffeine.
You need to withdraw from the caffeine properly.
I'm a huge migraine sufferer, and it gets
take
only
you
worse.
to the island and withhold your medication while you withdraw.
Caffeine with Dr. Kipper and
I'll take you to the island, strip you down naked, and watch you writhe around as you're withdrawing.
Nurse Debbie Lloyd turns to caffeine with detox.
That's all I need.
True that she was pursuing him or anything else. She was in the long.
Sarah Melvin goes, in the shower, I use a water-activated gel cleanser, then a honey almond body scrub, and on the face, an exfoliating gel scrub. Then I apply an herb mint facial mask.
I can't wear a facial mask, so you're close, Melvin. But take off the mask.
Term relationship with Tasha Van Ray, and he was in a long-term relationship with Vanessa.
And these soaps frighten and confuse me.
Parody. Neither of them had any kind of romantic relationship at that time. When she departed from from the Rum Diaries in 2009, Johnny started pursuing her. In fact, he sent her a number of gifts.
This is true. One of the ways I called Depp out during this, and obviously no one's rooting for him more than I am, but we're trying to be transparent here. We're trying to, give you an honest opinion. What Bredehoft says here is right. Depp pursued Amber Heard. This is a guy in a midlife crisis pussy fog, in the classic cliche casting couch scenario in the Rum Diary. When she said she's a lesbian, they maintained some kind of texting relationship. He pursued her. He cheated on his baby mama, Vanessa, with Amber, and he for years after that, and they probably had flings, and that went on with that Rochelle Hathaway as he was with Amber. So make no mistake, he made his bed. He facilitated this, so he's only a victim to some extent. Do not give him 100% sympathy during this, because he facilitated, created this. He's only a victim so much during this whole scenario, because you can actually blame Hunter S. Thompson for all this.
One of them was a guitar, and she returned it. Now, 2 years later, fast forward, that's when the press junket started. And that's when she had to come back and meet with him, and they ran on the press tours. At that point, she had ended the relationship with Tasha Van Reed, and he said he had ended his relationship with Vanessa Paradis. So during the press trips, that's when they started dating, and by both accounts.
Hey, Hooper, thank you, sir. I'm glad we're going to popularize, we're going to mainstream Barbara DeRush as Babs. She's just going to go by Babs, and that's going to be her moniker now. Thank you, Hooper. Thank you for I passed the Babs baton on to you.
Fell madly in love. She loved the side of Johnny that we see in the movies, the charismatic one, the charming one, the generous one. That's the man she fell in love with. But sadly, the monster came in the way. And that monster would come out when he was drinking and when he would take the drugs. Amber will never forget the first event of abuse. She was sitting in his house in Sweetser on the sofa, and he was across from her. And they were talking about a tattoo that he had that had Winona Ryder forever. He had
from the same state Elaine is from, Winona, Minnesota, originally. I wonder if she's got a fondness for Winona Ryder.
I doubt she knows who she is.
No, I don't think so either. I think she's pop culturally illiterate.
Do you want a fun fact about Elaine that not a lot of people know?
Yes.
Have you ever caught a glimpse of her legal team and the two tables they were set up at? There is a girl in the back. She's a larger girl, but that's Elaine's daughter.
Wait a minute. Okay, so was she directly behind Amber's team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I thought she was working on the case. She
has a laptop open in front of her. I think her name is Michelle.
Okay, so how about the irony? Elaine's daughter, Michelle, is there, but Depp's kids aren't. Nice. That looks great.
Altered that to Wine Forever after he broke up with Winona Ryder. Just an aside, he had Slim, which was his nickname for Amber. When they broke up, he turned it to Scum. But in any event, he had that on there.
True.
And Amber thought he was making a joke when he was talking about it. And she laughed. And he up and slapped her. Now, you see the rings that Mr. Depp has on him hurts when he slapped.
Hey, Y.68, I don't know if there's no way you brought this up because of what I'm about to say, because you're educated and I'm barely educated. I don't know what you call me. Sacco and Vanzetti, the only reason I know what that is, it was referenced on an episode of 21 Jump Street in season 2. I believe it was, oh my God. I got to go back. But the only reason I know what that is when they did Jump Street, obviously a lot of it takes place in a high school. So they're simulating high school, literature or English classes, and Sacco and Vanzetti was a reference. And the only reason I know it is from watching 21 Jump Street.
And she was stunned. She had no idea what to think. And she kind of laughed, thinking that, well, maybe that was a joke. What just happened? And he slapped her again. And then she just froze.
Small shrimp, Sarah. Cope pods, small
That's
shrimp,
disgusting.
like the mini shrimp. You put in like shrimp pasta salad. My mother used to make a pasta salad with mini shrimp, and it was really good.
I'm making in Nobody Gives a Shit news. My father's birthday. We're going over there next weekend.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Big Blair. Just say Big Blair.
Happy birthday, Big Blair. Served our. Thank you for your service, sir. A real American hero.
We're going over there next Saturday. I am making a mega colossal shrimp recipe. I will take photos and post it.
You have a relationship with your father most would be jealous of. It sounds like
I
a really
adore
good
my
man.
father. If
Yeah,
you
it
had,
sounds-
I can't think of a father on this planet that did a better job overall. It's not his fault I turned out the way I did, but he was perfect father, perfect
Good for
man,
you.
perfect everything. And
In
I
a
dread the
world-
day.
In a world where parents bash their kids, that's why I love Tiger Lily so much. He loves her kids, just like my older sister. You aren't you getting tired of these parents bashing their kids all the time, and they don't have them then. They don't.
You're
Kids
the
are
reason that
holding them back, or in a world where kids bash their parents, you and your father love each other. It's great to see.
don't bash your kids because you're the one that set up this reason for you to bash them. You're the
Right.
one that did something wrong.
It's never their fault, right? It's never the
Yeah.
parents' fault. It's always the kids.
My generation raised a shitty generation of kids, and I apologize, everyone.
Affy writes, they're hoarding all the good water in Antarctica.
And just looked. And then he hit her again, and this time it knocked her right off the sofa onto the ground. And she remembers.
Thank you, Melvin. Yeah, that's my quote. Seriously, if you don't know what to do, jump in the shower. It just washes all the funk off you, mentally, physically, whatever. You'll always feel at least 10% better, right?
You should see, ladies, you should see the photos I get from his showers. Ooh, just kidding.
The action. When I was a kid, I used to bring Aquaman action figures into the tub with me. Seriously.
When you were 22.
Yeah, well, yeah, kid. Could mean 22, right?
Her face was in this dirty, filthy carpet. That's what she remembers and fixated on, the dirty carpet. And
I
she's
don't get that.
Oh my God, I have to leave.
Why that detail? Is it just another insult to
But
him?
I love him.
Yeah.
I have
like,
to leave.
he doesn't know how to clean. He's such a
Well, that's like an insult to
such a
Hilda, the
drug
cleaning
den.
lady.
Yeah, it's an insult to Hilda.
Well,
She doesn't care about that.
She hates her, though, too, because she's the one
Yes.
that took the picture of the shit.
Well, that's one of the many reasons why Depp won, is that he has the work and he has the Hildas of the world. He doesn't see status, so he has the Hildas of the world on his side. She doesn't. She has no self awareness of how reductive she is in those situations. He's very cognizant of that.
But I love him. And she sat there for the longest time. She
So much
lay there
detail.
for the longest time. Then John.
Rooster, let me qualify these showers I'm taking. 3 of them are under 2 minutes. So the first one's like a thorough shower. The other ones are get in and get out. Just feel good and get out. Like literally the cold showers, maybe no more than 2 minutes. So it's not time consuming.
You take a cold shower?
Yeah, 2 cold showers now.
Oh.
Cool, not cold, cool. I
Your
would say
poor
it's
balls.
like jumping in the ocean. It's like jumping in the ocean in late July or something. That kind of water temperature.
I can't. I go through periods where, like, if the hot water heater goes out, I am thrown into a depression. I cannot take a lukewarm shower. I need to be pampered.
As soon as the Johnson Atrafeds, I jump out.
Johnny came off the sofa, got on his knees, started crying, told her he was very, very sorry that he had done this. It would never happen again. And he said some very significant words. I thought I had put the monster away for good. That's what he said to her that day. Well, Amber ended up leaving that day, and she went out to her car, her Mustang, and she remembers that it was cold, and she sat in the car for the longest time, and she remembers watching her breath.
Very important we say Mustang. It's such a weird, that Mustang.
Well,
to
that's
me,
just a reminder that she was self-sufficient.
Yeah. And I don't know if she's, because it's a vintage car, it's even more impressive. But the funny thing is, and I'm the only one that fixates on this, it's the exact car that Tom Hansen drove in 21 Jump Street. Could it be a coincidence? A 65, she just happens to have the same car Tom Hansen drives in 21 Jump Street.
Well, she also, remember that, what was that show he went on and redid her car?
Oh, yeah, shit. It's like a
well.
makeover.
Yeah,
car
overhauling, yeah. He took her Mustang and completely redid it.
By
Changed
the way,
it from blue to red, redid the interior, everything, and this is the thanks.
That episode, was it the full half hour, or we just saw clips of it? You know how there was clips of it online? I think we should bring in our friend Boff, and I want to see the whole effing thing, because I feel like we're only seeing like selective clips, and I'm tired. I'm not a clip guy. I don't do clips. I want the whole effing thing. I think we're missing out on something out there. Overhauling.
I don't know what episode.
Is it still on? It's like Jay Leno's Garage kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. They usually don't last long.
And the drugs.
Because it was cold.
I don't know
she
where
was
that's at.
thinking,
So
I have to leave him, but I love him. She just kept thinking that. She finally drove away. But Amber made the mistake that millions before her and millions after her have, who are victims of domestic abuse. She chose to stay and try to fix the problem, and thinking that she could do that.
I wouldn't waste the ice, Hooper, on the ice bath. The ice is purely for drinking. I would look at it as a waste of ice. Whenever I see athletes taking the ice bath, I just go, oh my God, all that ice for all the highballs I could drink and all the iced coffee. I can't deal with it when I watch the athletes wasting the ice in the ice bath.
Would you say that's a fetish?
What, a bathhouse?
No, your ice.
How many bathhouses has David been to? How many early 60s bathhouses has David been with Mark Harris?
He opened one in
George-
1958.
David, you should open a bathhouse in North Hollywood. See what happens. They're closing the bathhouses.
What does a bathhouse smell like? Ugh.
I don't. Ask Matthew Modine and bang the drums.
Steam
slowly.
plus ass. Ugh.
So she stayed. Now, Amber was also, she grew up in an abusive family. Her father abused her mother, and sometimes she and Whitney. So she had that cycle in there, just as you've heard that Johnny had that cycle in his house. And so what's the normal to them is a little bit more difficult than some of us can understand. You will hear expert witness testimony about the cycles of violence and what happens with these people and how they react and all the dynamics of thinking they can fix them. She thought all the way through she could fix them if she can just get them sober and clean.
Babs DeRush has the problem where the pool gets too warm at a certain point. You ever have that? You had a pool growing up, right, Sarah? Did it ever get too warm?
No.
No?
Only
No,
when
just-
I peed.
Touche, Liz Cheney.
And if you say you never peed in the pool, you're a liar.
Oh, I do. I do from the outside.
Oh,
Are you kidding me? When don't I pee in the pool?
I looked down
Get
once when I was peeing in the pool. I looked down and you could see it. I was like, "Oh, swim away, swim away."
What was that sign? I remember laughing really hard. This friend of mine got a really nice in the ground pool, and really cool. They parents like you're like really like parents you're kind of jealous of. Really, his dad was a super cool, nice guy. And he had a sign that said, "Welcome to our ool. You don't see any pee in this because we want to keep it that way," or something like that. And I remember thinking it was the funniest thing in the world when I was in my mid-teens, whatever the hell that was. Because he was identifying, he was bringing attention to the fact that people pee in the pool. It's the first time I'd ever heard anybody bring attention to it.
Hooper says he would drink my pool water. All right.
Oh my God.
I'll sell it. I'll jar it if you want and sell it.
I think Depp's peeing in the pool in that video with him and Sherilyn Fenn in his sister's pool in the late 80s.
Maybe.
I think
Everybody
he's peeing
pees in a
it.
pool.
Everybody does. Everybody does. Especially the ocean.
Clean, then everything was going to be that wonderful side that she fell madly in love with. And she kept trying, and she kept trying. She went to Al-Anon meetings. She went to therapists. She tried to do...
All the boys think she's a spy. She's got Betty Davis eyes. That's for you, Melvin.
Couples therapy. You'll hear about their tape recording sessions to try to resolve fights. Or
Barbara DeRush, you have me smitten with you that you know this. In season 3, that Fame episode they did, I think it was called the High or something like that. They used the song Monkey Man when Depp plays in that band. Remember that school band?
Mm-hmm.
When they do like a medley of all the Jump Street characters and what
That's
the
the episode I hate the most, right?
I know.
With Michael
I
DeBar.
know. Michael DeBar's in it. I love that scene though, where they dissecting Jackie Gleason and the Honeymooners and with the high note scene.
Mm-hmm.
Take it off. There were a lot of poignant moments in the Honeymooners. He didn't do it for a laugh. Gleason lived that pain. I thought Michael DeBar's great in that scene, explaining the pathos of Jackie Gleason.
He's I like him as an actor, and I will always sing what's that song? Your Obsession. I will always sing it when it comes on the radio.
Obsession.
That episode
Who do
sucks.
you want me to be to make me sleep with me?
Make you
You're
sleep
mine.
with me. I have to correct you on lyrics.
Dun, 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 dun,
de-escalate them so he wouldn't get mad at her for anything. But you'll hear that he gets mad at her for all kinds of things. But he didn't want her to work. Here she's a budding actor who wants to be out there and succeed, and he doesn't want her to take roles. He starts controlling what she wears. He starts looking at her lines when she tries out for places. He nixes any romance scenes, sex scenes. He gets mad and accuses her of sleeping with every single one.
Melvin accuses you of raw dogging, Sarah, that drinking caffeine without the coffee is raw dogging. That's pretty brilliant, Melvin, that you can draw
If
that.
the taste of coffee wasn't so putrid, I would drink coffee.
I'm not saying it tastes good.
Why?
I'm not going to. Not everything is the yummy phase. This is why you don't drink.
pill.
You don't drink alcohol. Everything has got to be yummy with you, with
Just
the
take a
candy
caffeine
and there's sometimes I ingest stuff that's not necessarily yummy, and coffee and certain alcohols are one of them.
One of her co-stars. It became a cycle of that, a control as well, emotional abuse as you go. But what's also significant in that is the property damage. And that's a hard one for Mr. Depp to be able to escape when he's claiming that he's such a docile thing and that it's all misheard. You're going to see pictures. He writes on mirrors, horrible things.
Here we go.
He writes on lampshades, on clothing, on countertops. In Australia, when you heard Ben talk about Australia, he wrote the third day as Amber comes out after she's barricaded herself and gone through a lot, and I'll back up on that in a minute. She comes out.
I don't know where the drug thing is here.
I think it's coming up. I think it's.
I don't know, but if you want to go to that last timestamp I sent you.
Well, you said 2:45. I went to that. Oh, 3:16?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't go to 3:16. I went to 2:45.
Let's just do 3:16 and then we'll move on.
Okay, 3 right here.
Wait. Remember how Amber talked about when he gets into these drug-induced things, he gets into these paranoias, and he gets some idea in his head, and he just won't let it go. And that was his this time. There's somebody put that feces in the bed a month ago. That was his spin. So she gets Io Tillett on the phone. He's in New York at the time. He's going, they thought, this is ridiculous. Of course nobody did. And by the way, Boo has this huge problem. Of course it was Boo. He's always doing this. But Johnny just won't get there. So then.
And you're worried about the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You're very offended.
That dog's probably dead.
Dog. It very well could be.
They laugh. That makes him mad. Then he throws the phone at Amber. Amber screams out and says, "Ow, you just threw the cell phone at me. It hurts." Io says, "Amber, get out of there." Johnny gets madder, pulls her hair, grabs her and starts hitting her. So Io gets hold of Rocky Pennington. She comes over as quickly as she can. She goes and gets in between the two of them.
Yorkshire tea, says Ben. 4810. That stuff will keep you grounded without headaches in an English strong brown kind of tea reality. I'd give it a shot. Ben. It's been so long. I don't think I could ever go away from it. I think I'm so steeped in. I don't know if I could. It would be tough. It would be one of those crazy detox you see heroin addicts had, where you have to be locked in a room.
Move your mic up just a little bit.
Move it up?
Yeah. Is there a breeze or something?
Yeah, it's a fan. That's the fan.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I completely I forgot it was occasionally the fan will seep in at a certain speed that it hits the mic.
Yeah, I know. I had to turn mine off because mine was doing that earlier.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it.
Melvin goes, she's a larger gal. I was talking about Elaine's daughter.
Yeah.
Well, at least she was at the trial, unlike Depp's kids, Melvin.
Mm-hmm. Let this play just a bit.
Supporting her mom.
She puts her hands up on his chest. He pushes them down. And then she continues to stand in between them. And he's screaming loudly 10 times, "Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up.
Get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up.
Loudly.
Oh, Sarah, that's great. I forgot about that. And I remember cackling. This was like in your time, this would have been like 6 something in the morning, I think, when she did her opening statement.
Yeah. No, this was the closing.
Oh,
This
it
was
is
like
the closing?
middle of the
yeah,
day.
okay.
Yeah.
The opening statement's pretty similar to her
Yeah,
closing.
yeah. The mic on this closing statement, I even like denoised all the background, and it's still horrible. The mic.
Sue Monster with a great callback here. She says, "You think Depp said to Elaine's daughter when she's walking out of the room, 'Hey, watch that wide load, yo.'"
Yeah.
Then his bodyguards hear this. They come in, they break it up. That's how that happens. But the next part of this, remember Josh Drew, and I think Elizabeth Mars was amazing in this one. Remember their testimony. After that, he goes and he has to, he always leaves a path of destruction as he's leaving. So he, bashes up things.
Wait.
You saw Ben's pictures here on the picture.
Melvin loves a hunched over Camille, by the way, behind Elaine. Go ahead, sorry.
No, keep playing just for a second, and then we'll move on.
What'd you want to say?
No, I just said hold on, keep going. That's what I meant.
Frames, knocks things over as he's going, goes down the hallway, he's splashing the wine, he gets his bodyguards to let him into penthouse 5. That's where Josh and Elizabeth are trying to help with Rocky's bead thing for the next day, and he comes in storming in, and he says, "Get your bitch out of here," and he's got the big magnum, and he's mad, and Elizabeth is just terrified.
Forget it. You open a whole can of worms with Big Lair. Sarah, now Melvin's going to use it. It's going to be,
right.
That callback's coming at you when you least expect it.
Barely know. Johnny, she's met him 4 times, and she goes ripping out of there as fast as she can, and Josh gets out of.
Depp would love you using Benny Hill, by the way, because you know what he loves the most, right? Monty Python.
Monty
It's
Python.
right in line with Monty Python. Monty Python, there's
right.
too many of us dying. Monty Python.
There too. Then what does he do? He rearranges the furniture, or he might have knocked something off. One of the countertops or something. I think is the testimony of his bodyguards. But you saw the pictures. He went through and trashed that place again.
This question by Affy Sarah, very important. How much chicken salad did you eat in the 90s?
I'm very picky with chicken salad. I don't like celery in my chicken salad or any foreign objects. It should be chicken.
Celery is a staple in that.
No.
If you don't like celery,
I pick it out. Just the chicken and whatever sauce combination you're using.
I
like agent you're using.
I make it once, probably every 2 months or something.
It's
Make a lot of it because it's a pain in the ass.
All I ask is if you're going to put celery in it, make it large enough I can just flick it to the side or avoid it in the bowl when I'm scooping.
I mean, that's a good idea by you. I mean, not everybody likes celery, so maybe it should be like optional, like have it separate from the.
It's just when I'm eating a chicken salad, it's like creamy and chewy from the chicken. The crunch grosses me out because it's not supposed to be there. That's me.
What do they say the best way to make it is rotisserie chicken or slow cook? Kind of thing. And
I don't. If you're making a chicken salad because you're covering it in things, I don't think there's anything wrong with boiling the chicken.
There's nothing wrong with it. You actually taught me a technique, which I use. I asked you something about how you don't use a knife. You use a scissor to cut things.
Oh my God, so New York.
A
scissor.
A scissor?
Scissors.
Yeah, scissoring like you and Eve Barlow.
You're like Howard. Robin, I used a scissor to cut the paper. No, I use scissors to cut the paper.
How dare you? It's great because you're not touching anything, and it seems like it would be easier, and you're not going to cut your finger at any point because it seems like it's safer and more efficient. I use it all the time. It's phenomenal. Like cutting steak shards for a taco or in chicken in any way. I mean, everything. I think it's great. I think it's way better than using a knife.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I do it.
I've never heard of anybody using that before. A scissor.
Scissors.
As he left.
Right.
Now, the next part of this is the police coming. IO calls the police. He's in New York. He calls the New York police 911. He's afraid they're not going to get there fast enough. He still remembers December 15 because he came in afterwards and saw all of the injuries on Amber and all.
Remember this, Sarah. Scott Baylor says he's a mama's boy. So we'll take a clip from Karate Kid where the Mrs. Del LaRussa is babying him.
Where she abandons him in the movie.
Doesn't she baby him in the movie in the beginning?
Well, of course, but then she like abandons him and you never see her through the movie until the very end.
She vanishes, right? That's a great point. Like a half hour and you don't see her again. That's a great point. I never thought of that.
You want to go on to something else so we can say goodbye to Elaine?
What about the drugs, and the drugs?
I don't know where. That's at the beginning. I don't know where it is. I didn't time
sure it's at
the
beginning?
evidence.
Yes, but I don't know where.
She was sitting in his house on buses, and she'd go up to six different auditions in one day. 63, dropped out of medical school to marry. And by the way, he would never let her do that during their relationship.
I think it's the very beginning.
One for you to see. Then you're going to hear audio tapes, which are pretty significant too. Ben told you about the May 2014 Boston plane incident, we call it, where he kicked her, where he was so drunk and he blacked out. Well, Amber audio taped him when he went to the back of the plane and passed out and was moaning loudly. You will hear that. You will also hear some other audio tapes that are very significant. One of them in Australia at the end of the 3-day hostage situation. You will hear, apparently Mr. Depp turned on Ms. Heard's iPhone. She was never allowed to have a password. By the way, he would never let her do that during their relationship, but he must have inadvertently turned it on. There's 5.
Why not 16 wants to get your backwoods eyes and thick hair from Big Blair?
I have his eyes. I look just like him, but I don't know. He's got a full head of hair. It's not really thick though.
A female Big Blair. That's hot. That is hot.
Oh.
Right, Dot?
5 hours of audio tape. It's during the cleanup of all the broken glass and the liquor and the urine and the blood stains and everything else in that house. And you can hear his handlers talking about it. You can hear them talking about trying to find his finger. And that you can hear them say, she's stone cold sober. You will hear all of that. It's
okay, G Canada. I'll see you in 3 minutes. Hurry back. You'll be back. You always are. Crazy Robin, welcome. Welcome, Crazy Robin. She says, sorry I'm late. I'm on CP time. That's all right. We'll take any Crazy Robin we can get. That reminds me, I got to update Patreon tonight. We're going to have the Gary video and some Depp stuff, among other things. But that's the Gary horrible pitch saga, which leaks into the Kimmel pitch and then Robin's pitch after it. It's almost 10 hours.
very, very significant evidence. What this is going to tell you is the story of a very different Johnny Depp. It's one who is always, I can't say always, because he has the charismatic side that Amber fell in love with. But he has an enormous amount of rage. You will see the medical records and hear from the psychiatrist that talked to him for a while in 2014, where he admits that he has rage, that he's like a demon, that he views his wife, Amber, like his mother and his sister that he hates. That's what you will see. You will see that.
That's like a Bonnie editorializing. He hates his mother and his sister.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, because that's the way. If you don't know anything about it, you'd think he hates everybody in his family. Which he had a feud with his sister. She apparently stole money from him, and one of the theories we have is that her testimony was payback. So was it $7 million, Sarah? Misappropriated
Six
from
something, yeah.
Infinite Nile.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be fueled by the alcohol and the drugs. Ben told you a little bit about that.
Okay, now you got it.
Let's list of his.
One more time.
It'll be fueled by the alcohol and the drugs. Ben told you a little bit about that.
All right, that's a good place to end. Oh, good job, Sarah. I can't wait to watch the whole thing on a loop. Put it on a playlist.
I'm going to make bets with anybody in chat that he doesn't watch it ever.
What do you mean? I'm watching it now, so you're wrong immediately from beginning to end. Oh God.
There are 3 hours and 40 more minutes that you haven't watched.
How many radio gunks have you listened to in the last 4 months, shall we say?
Let's say 2 years probably, but
2 years. You hate the contemporary Stern show that much, you can't even listen to us
no, I do listen to
hate
you.
on it. No, I understand. You don't care. Like, you are one of these people that fucking walks the walk. You're not listening. You're not circling back and pretend. You don't listen. You stopped listening when more or less as the transition to Sirius came, probably like
I listen to your what do you call them? The remembering episodes
right.
covering the current stuff. I
You like
can't.
the old. You like the right. You like the kind of the theme stuff from the
The
good old days,
nostalgia episodes, yes.
or the not so good old days. It's like it's not doesn't necessarily have to be. But yeah, you're going. I get it. I get it. Believe me. You would rather see like a
I'd rather hear a Gary part 3 or a Fred part 2
Yeah.
than
We gotta do that. You're right.
what happened this week. I can't. It
There's a lot of
angers
people
me.
that agree with you. I get it. I get it. There's a whole swath of people that don't give a shit about the current show and don't care about us. You know, they'll listen to us and they're very, very sweet for doing that, but they don't care about what's going. They have written it off. That the new stuff is just they they're they have divorced themselves from, and they can't bear to even hear how bad it is.
Yeah, the exception to that is a Shuley episode. I can't because
Right.
he's
I
too
get it.
he's too representative of the current era.
David says signs like, aha, I would totally open up a bathhouse for millennial gay guys who own time machines like me.
I
God, some of
just
the
I see and I picture a white towel, slightly stained because they don't properly wash them there, wrapped around a hairy man's body
yeah. How
and
about Towel Snapping
matted
Tuesday with
black chest hair from the steam, and I want to vomit.
Towel Snapping Tuesday with Jack Depp?
Ugh.
He comes in and towel snaps the guys as they come in, and they pay him like an appearance fee.
I think that's you. And you just call yourself Jack Depp as like a porn name.
See a list of his prescriptions.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to play is now the status of her. Good job, Sarah. I cannot wait to have that in the background when I take my migraine nap. I honestly feel like does Depp speak on that at all, or is it just Elaine and Amber?
No, it's focused on Elaine and the ass that Camille handed to her.
Lauren Marie has it here. She says, "Welcome to the OOL. Notice there's no P in it. Please keep it that way." Okay, that's how it went. Thank you, Lauren. That's exactly how the sign. When I first saw that sign, I don't know, color me unsophisticated or whatever. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and a lot of it was that just bringing attention to peeing in the pool, which nobody had done before that sign. At least I didn't think. It was like the hidden secret. We all do it, but no
It's
one's
a
gonna.
funny sign.
It is. I still think it is. I think that'd be a great T-shirt to walk around in. Al-Anon. Yeah, peeing in the Crazy Robin. The public pool. We were told by lifeguards there is a pee corner, and be advised is not to pee. So I peed in the opposite corner, and I know it's gross, but I did it. Thank you, Crazy
Sometimes you
Robin,
have
for your
to.
honesty. You have to.
Nobody's gonna know. Why
You
not?
have to get out of the pool, physically get out of the pool while you're dripping. Go to find a bathroom, so you're dripping in the house, which isn't good either. You have to do it. You have to. Doesn't Dr. Drew say that pee is sterile too?
Yeah, for stingray bites.
I got a stingray bite for you, honey.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
All right, next is going to be I'm hopefully can have this here. This is the Entertainment Tonight report. I think they did a decent job for the humanoids, but I think they hit the bases pretty quickly and efficiently. There was one on Court TV, which is a little different. Maybe I'll play that too.
I don't like if it's the same one I sent you, the Court TV one.
That guy's weird. The host, right? He's
Yeah,
got
he
like
speaks very
well, he's not a good broadcaster.
bathhousey.
I don't know if he had a gay list, but he just sounded like he's not a qualified broadcaster. He just sounded like unqualified to host something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird.
And I like unconventional speakers, but he just had I don't know what his lilt was, and should be playing. I just hit. Oh no, it's spinning.
Okay.
What's going on here?
I sent
I
you the
have
court.
never had.
Mr.
Okay,
Depp
sorry,
has
sorry.
proven all the elements of defamation. Answer, yes.
As Amber Heard appeals the verdict in Johnny Depp's defamation trial case against her, she's hiring new lawyers.
To my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
As for Johnny, he's busy getting back.
Scott Bellow's got a great comment here about coffee. He goes, isn't it odd how great coffee actually smells, but it tastes like shit until you add everything? It's true. It's one of the few things in the world that is just like that.
I hate even candy that is like flavored with mocha.
Yeah. You don't like I like coffee ice cream.
Oh God, vile.
What's it called? Mocha? What's it called?
Mocha, whatever. Yeah.
Mochaccino or whatever.
Ugh.
To work.
I've gained some degree of success in this industry. I mean, I'm really, it's been very good to me, and it's been very good for me.
But first, Amber's legal team shakeup. The actress is now represented by David L. Axelrod and J. Ward Brown.
You remember David Axelrod, Sara, from CNN? He's like a correspondent.
It's a different.
I know. I thought it was the same guy. He actually speaks like Mr. Skin, the guy from CNN.
Mm-hmm.
Ballard Spar. These guys have all these sleepy, hollow magistrate names again.
Mm-hmm.
Ballard Spar. It's like the names are made up when they become lawyers. How do they find it? Like when you're named Ballard Spar, you have to become a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Seinfeld joke, when you're called Jeeves, you have no other choice in life than to become a butler. That's a lawyer name, Ballard Spar.
Lead appellate counsel. They shared in a joint statement, quote, "We welcome the opportunity to represent."
I want to hang out with a David Axe, just so I can call him Axe.
Mm-hmm.
Just so
the
I can
Axe
get
Man.
the Axe Man. Just have a frat boy name, like those really clever ESPN frat boy names they call each other, like Jonesy and Legs.
Ugh.
And was that Greenie?
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Heard in this appeal, as it is a case with important First Amendment implications for every American. As for her previous team, Ben Rottenborn will continue to represent Amber as co-counsel, but Elaine Bredehoft, she's stepping down.
And how is she today? What is her next move?
She's right. Well, her next move is appeal. There were
But
a
she's
number.
heartbroken.
She is heartbroken.
Sarah, let everybody in, and I don't want to put you on the spot. I truly don't. Let everybody in on the California appellate process and what's going on now. So, because I don't think it's explained well, and a lot of times. So she's appealing. It is done in California. She is now the.
No. Where did you see that? I thought it's in Virginia.
Well, you said that if it's granted, she's asking for the trial to be conducted in California.
No, she asked for that in the beginning, but it was denied.
So now she wants the retrial done back in Virginia, but Depp's team deliberately wanted Virginia to take her out of her element, so her witnesses wouldn't be friendly.
If she
really wouldn't have the the resources to get there.
Well, that's her problem, but his witnesses got there. But if she's appealing a verdict in Virginia, I don't think she can appeal it in California.
The appellate process right now is going on, and if they say, okay, well, you got a point, so the appellate judges or is a team of it's almost like a jury of lawyers that do this.
It's another, I don't know, it's a different judge. It's an appellate judge. It's mainly, nothing's going to would be televised,
right,
and most of it's done just via form.
Right, and if she's granted, yes, they retry it again.
Yes, but I don't think it.
Not using Oz Karate.
Yeah, it would have to be a different judge.
Because that's what they're banking on, is they get a different judge. But
Yeah,
Oz Karate had nothing to do with it. It was the jury that did it.
They're not granting this.
Most say that she's not gonna. It's not gonna be pulled off. They're not gonna give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying that the amendment process, the First Amendment, it's a First Amendment case more so than it's a defamation case, and they're going to lean on First Amendment stuff, and that's going to, if they do get granted it, it's going to be because the First Amendment was not abided by, right?
Mm-hmm. The First Amendment doesn't protect lies. That's why she lost.
Babs DeRush, I do remember Benny, the old man. I think that's supposed to be like his real dad or something. He would slap him on the forehead all the time in those ending sequences where they would run around. As a Generation Xer, I think it was on Channel 9. What the fuck was it back then? Channel 9 UPN. I'm trying to remember what the other call letters were. Anyway, it was on like syndicated at like 6 o'clock at night in the 80s in Long Island on our Channel 9.
And one of the first things that she said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, "I am so sorry to all these women."
That's Elaine back in June, revealing Amber's decision to appeal the jury's decision, which found that she did defame Johnny.
Do you feel like you could be sued again by him?
Crazy Robin says, "Hey, Sarah, then it's not chicken salad. It's just chicken with dressing."
Exactly.
It's a good point.
I also, I go crazy. I get exotic. I put bacon in it sometimes.
A lot of people, bacon goes very well with that. It goes well with a lot of things.
Chicken and bacon. I don't think there's a better friendship.
My favorite sub sandwich or hero or hoagie is the chicken cutlet hero with bacon and lettuce on it. That's it might be my favorite version of any kind of hoagie.
I haven't had one of those in a long time.
I got to make that again.
For defamation, I'm scared that no matter what I do, no matter what I say or how I say it,
breadcrumbs.
Every step that I take,
God, her eyebrows,
will present another opportunity for this sort of silencing, which is what I guess a
People from Oregon have taste buds of an 8-year-old, says Hooper.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Hooper wants to drink my pool water. So Hooper, to drink that, you'd have to come into Oregon.
There's the gunslinger. Scott Balow says, "I have the best chicken salad, mayo, breadcrumbs." Huh? What does the breadcrumbs do for it? I don't even.
It's just texture.
Texture. I'll give you texture.
I don't know if I could do the eggs in it. I would eat it.
Yeah, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with eggs on any level with sandwiches like
the
that.
dill, though, that sounds great.
I like an egg sandwich in one hand and the other hand on the home keys. Oh, it's AJ Benza doing his time at Newsday.
He's so gross.
defamation lawsuit is meant to do. It's meant to take your voice.
And while Amber continues to fight back, Johnny's
Rooster, I like that Depparte right there. I would go.
I
with
do
that
too.
all
I
the
think he
time.
looks great, except for
I
those
would have had
safety
that at the
pins.
trial. I love that's one of my favorite.
He
That's
can't
my
wear that
favorite
in the
contemporary-
trial.
No, the earrings, stomach.
No, he can't wear that hair up like that. I
You
would
don't
just
think
comb
that
it
hair
over a
is
little
better
bit.
than fucking the crap, the dumb
The first
blow
2 days,
ponytail he
yes, I
had?
do. But
Oh, you're crazy! You're crazy.
I
If I'm a
don't.
let's get votes on what hair is better, this one or the
Well, let me
the
finish.
Boston George Young ponytail
Let me finish.
drug dealer do with.
This haircut is fine if he combs it a little bit. It can't be standing up on end like that if he's going to be in court.
But you're okay with the long ponytail. That's crazy.
I
And
didn't
the
mind
earrings,
the
you're okay
ponytail
with.
because it was very.
And the skull rings, you're okay with.
My goodness, you jump like to
Is
100.
that Adam Waldman on Depp's right, our
No,
left?
no.
It looks like him with like a shittier hair, right?
This is before Adam Waldman was even
I
in his
know,
life.
but it looks just like him.
He's focusing on his career on the big screen and behind the camera. For the actor's first feature film role in 3 years, he's making a royal return.
That hair
as
would have been
King Louis
fine.
XV in the new period drama, John du Barry.
Another chat joke with Hooper goes, "Arm is still on Thursday's chat." Right?
I would like to blindfold Depp though, just once.
He's blindfolded when he took Transcendence in Mordecai.
No, he was trying not to work too hard and get
Yeah,
his
that's right.
$50 million.
Hang out with his friends and cast his friends.
That's the first glimpse of Johnny, fully clad as the 1700s era monarch.
Find out where you want to be, you know, and get there. I just.
That's really profound.
Why,
Sarah,
why does he have to be profound? They're asking him stupid
No, I know
questions.
he doesn't have to be. I'm blaming Entertainment Tonight for playing that clip as an example of being profound, which is what they were doing. Of
Well, you
all the
gotta-
things you could get, that's what you choose.
I know, and people like, oh come on, put a little life into it. How hard is it? You're a multimillionaire. Do some work on the red carpet.
Ask him a better question then.
Exactly, and then you'd say something like, find out where you want to be and get there. It's like you're just over it by like the 15th person.
I know. I know. So I should say too, Sara reminds me of one of Depp's most underrated roles. I recommend everybody watch and just watch his scenes. He is in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. He plays a CIA agent who then becomes a blind CIA agent gunfighter. And at the end of the movie, he is so hypnotically great in this movie. It is so, it never gets brought up as one of the best things he's done. Nobody talks about this. I think to this day, probably his most underrated role because the movie's kind of like disposable. It's supposed to be the El Mariachi trilogy that Robert Rodriguez did with Desperado. So this is the third, and he steals this movie from Antonio Banderas. Like, you can't steal. I mean, like Amber Heard stole his 50s. You could make a case that he stole her 20s too.
Please.
G Canada's going to steal her 30s and 40s. And he is hypnotically brilliant in this movie as Agent Sands. And there's so many. I think he is allowed to write some of his own dialogue in the movie. There's a scene, and I don't know if this is meant, if he's playing a priest or if he's playing Agent Sands pretending to be a priest. But do you remember, Sarah, the scene in the confessional booth where Banderas goes in there, you know, that old gag where the sociopathic vigilante gunfighter goes to church and it's supposed to wipe everything away. So he goes to confessional, and Depp plays a priest, but he's doing a Marlon Brando impression as the priest.
Oh, yeah.
So he's, it's just, you know, it catches you off guard. You're like, holy shit, is that Depp doing Brando in the and to this day I don't know if that was supposed to be Agent Sands fucking with him or if it was just Depp got to do that just as an homage to Brando.
I'm sure he got to do pretty much for coming on and doing the movie. He got to do whatever he wanted.
Whatever he wanted to, because that's like right after Pirates exploded.
But he is beautiful in that movie, even with blood running down his face.
There's quite a cast in that too. I mean, really, really sprawling who's who with like Mickey Rourke and Salma Hayek and Eva Mendes and Banderas and Ruben Blades and Cheech Marin. It's endless. Willem Dafoe.
Started, taking steps forward and finding my road,
And that road also includes directing. Keeping with the period piece theme, Johnny will direct Modi, a biopic about 18th century Italian artist Amedeo Modigliani. And get this, it's Johnny's first time behind.
So it is, so they are abbreviating it to Modi, which is
a
smart.
good idea.
It's a very good idea because people are not going to want to pronounce Modigliani. It's like trying to say Antetokounmpo. Remember that fucking movie? Nicolas Cage, Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Yeah.
You're just looking at that title going, who is gonna, just the title ruined that you knew people wouldn't see it because the title was so dopey. The title is very important to him. Like, it seems like a simpleton answer or rationalization, but it really is. You need that sort of pithy, snappy thing, especially when that's actually two syllables, right? Modi, but it's short. And to call it Modigliani, I don't think anybody would. It's not going to do it. Al Pacino is probably more out of touch than Hall & Oates and Depp is, and I don't think Pacino. Nobody says no to this guy, and it's probably some pet project. Pacino, who's probably, I think he's 80 by now, and Depp can't say no to him, and it's homage to this. But again, it's one of the very first genres I would take Depp completely out of is this period piece, pretentious, anything French or Italian. Stop.
I want him to direct a movie, meaning on his iPhone, and call it My Dick.
Well, he has his own production company, right? So what do you have your own production company if you can't call the shots on every single? Why does he need to even? He can easily do a Mel Gibson and write his own ticket cinematically. Right? Why does he even need to be represented by any production company, big, bad, evil, Disney or Warner Brothers? Who gives a shit? Do a Mel Gibson and just, again,
do a Jesus movie and
help.
Make $1 billion and retire.
Lens in 25 years. The last time he directed a project was
That's the Brave,
1997's.
That's the movie he directed in The Brave. Marlon Brando. He got Marlon Brando out of retirement. You never saw it, right?
I've never seen it.
I have that. I'm depredacious about posting it on the Patreon because I don't know if that would trigger a.
We tried that and it didn't work.
I don't know, but does the Brave even have a copy? I feel like it's uncopyrightable. Like it's not even worthy of a trademark. Like He doesn't even think to trademark it because it just didn't.
I
No one
think
saw it.
everything associated with him is trademarked.
Yeah. And I've actually toiled with posting that whole movie. I'll give it to anybody who wants it in our own way. Email me at thedeppening@gmail.com or 17 Squabble Lane at gmail.com. You can certainly have it, but I'm very hesitant to post it.
Don't bother DMing him on Gunk. He never reads them.
I do too. No, I mean it might not.
Might be a few months, but you'll get to
The
it.
Brave, which Johnny also starred in alongside.
Or Depp's sister will email you back.
Yeah.
Hollywood legend Marlon Brando.
Tell me, are you afraid to die?
Are you?
Shortly after the verdict was announced,
It's very, 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 very. I give Entertainment Tonight credit here. It's very rare you see footage from that movie, especially dialogue. I have not seen. I've seen them tease it. They never ever show footage. Nobody does. They did a nice job calling out a clip from that movie.
Every time I see the Lone Ranger, I'm like, oh, it's not too late. Turn back. Don't fall for the Tonto woman. She's gonna come and get you.
Are you talking about the fappening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Sorry,
and
this
again,
was when he's doing Lone Ranger. She is seducing him and sending him nude pictures. And one photo has her holding a sign. It says, "My Tonto man," and it's like, oh god, she's topless, of course. So Google that if you want.
Oh, I think Melvin's got it on his hard drive. G Canada and Melvin have it on their hard drive.
Of course, they have the
It's
entire.
right in line with the Jennifer Lawrence was the star of the fappening, right? That kind of year, that
2015.
Release. Right.
Lots of pictures of her in a bathtub too. Gross.
Scott Bell. I always wanted to start a law firm, Axl Rose, Wheatbread, and Castle Grayskull, but I don't know anything about law. Sounds like what was that? The Saturday Night Live guy that did the Jack Handy. I always wanted to start a law firm, Axl Rose, Wheatbread, and Castle Grayskull, but I don't know anything about law.
Source told E.T. Johnny's looking forward to reclaiming his place in Hollywood. Quote, he feels like things.
Right. Thank you, Rooster. He was David Axelrod from CNN was Obama's advisor. And ironically, or fittingly, or similar to Laura Lee, her new legal team beat Sarah Palin in a defamation case.
That's not hard.
With the New York Times. That's interesting. It all ties in.
Are on the upswing for him, and like he cleared his name. He's looking forward to the future, both personally and professionally, and feels like he got his career back.
Oh, thank you, Crazy Robin. The David Axelrod from CNN is actually from Michigan, which can have a similar accent to Illinois, I found. I mistook somebody from that the other day, and I realized, okay. And that's why he sounds like that. He's subscribed to his podcast, he can put you to sleep. And I watched him interview Charles Barkley a few years ago. It needs to be he can be very boring, but he needs to be spirited, and like Melvin says, anger is the key to all entertainment, and he's good when he's angry. Axelrod is actually Rooster's porn name. Sarah.
Okay.
My porn name is Anthony Sunrise. So they say you take your middle name, right? And then you use the street you grew up on.
Okay.
And then you put it together. So it's Anthony Sunrise is my porn name. What would yours be?
It doesn't make any sense.
But that's okay.
And fifth. Oh
good.
God, no, hold on. This is gross because you can take it a certain way. Anne Maple.
That's very good.
That's gross.
That's very good. Gross, absolutely, but it works in that. Now people in the chat are going to be putting their porn names out there. Channel 9 in LA too. We loved watching it. Okay, we're at what, 2:48?
Yeah.
What you want to do? You want to put the Court TV one, or we go? You want to go back to Barisi and Anjanette Levy talking about
I forgot about that.
Isaac Baruch. Or no, you know what? I got to do got to do the MTV story.
Okay, let's do that. Is
So
that going to take
as
us to
people
3?
know, one of the current, yeah, it'll take us to
Okay.
3, I think. A lot of people may have seen this. This is like a weird bit of gossip. Oh, by the way, just for you and Scott Balow, I have this for you.
I know what it is.
This
I
is
bet.
from, what is it?
Him introducing?
No.
Damn, okay.
No. This is from Nightmare on Elm Street. The
Oh,
deleted
yes,
scenes.
I forgot to tell you to play this. Okay.
The original Nightmare on Elm Street. This is deleted. I
Awesome.
have 2 versions of it. Okay, you think this is actually not in the movie. This looks like it is. You'll notice that what happens here.
Before you play, I'm always bothered by the fact he's got a very large early 80s television sitting up on his junk when he falls asleep.
Well, this is the movie came out in 84, so 83, this film and whatever. To have a TV like that, and it's pretty hardcore, privileged little kid on your bed like that.
Well, that house was a mansion to me.
Yeah, there was. I was definitely jealous of that house. How bad do you want that jacket on eBay?
Oh God, I'd kill.
Doesn't Nancy wear that jacket at when they run to the police station?
Yeah.
And Nancy has his letter jacket on.
Mm-hmm. I take those sweatpants too.
I ask people. Depp goes, oh, he's like, oh, I can't believe they casted me. They wanted some, prototypical blonde Ted McGinley type to play. And I'm like, no, he looks like a high school athlete, doesn't he? He looks like the kids that played on my high school football team. I didn't play
Maybe a few years older than the seniors in my school, but
yeah, he looks.
close.
Yeah, obviously he's 21 here, but he looks like a high school football player. That's how everybody on my high school football team looked.
Is it gross that I would wear those sweatpants like a COVID mask?
No, it's not gross at all. I wonder what happened to that. See, only he could make that outfit look cool. 1428 Elm Street.
Oh, I'm not gonna take a chance on sneaking out until she does.
Nobody says this to themselves
Glenn
out
Lance's
loud.
room. Look at Glenn Lance's room.
I know.
He's got a picture of Camilla above his head. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who designed this wall. He's got his football trophy.
There's something over on the other side of the bed. I think it's his tattoo, his Cherokee tattoo.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is that his real hand or is that a Marfan hand?
Oh, his hand's not that big.
No. He could palm a Kentucky Colonel's ABA ball with that hand.
See, there's the Native American behind the lamp. Isn't that the tattoo he has?
Yes, Dorian. They all have specific defamation laws. Every state's different. But I remember, Depp's team wanted it in Virginia because it benefited them. It was essentially, to use a sports metaphor, to get Amber Heard to play a road game because she couldn't bring her grifters they wouldn't go to Virginia. It was more better. He knew it would take her out of her. She only knows California and LA in that LA scene, which is really smart. Another good move they made.
You know, Depp hung that picture up.
Where are you looking, Sarah? With the
behind the lamp, the brown lamp.
Oh yes, it is an Indian. I don't know. Is it
Native American? As a Native American, I find that offensive.
Yeah. What are you more Native American than Depp is? He's
Probably.
1/18th Cherokee.
You look at my grandmother. It's horrible. I'm surprised she didn't have a feather in her hair at all times.
I heard you tan like Tim
I tan
Burton
great.
does.
I just don't go outside.
Yeah.
I work in an office.
Okay, the next one is the actual scene, which is crazy. I don't know what benefited them by deleting the scene. I disagree with so many filmmaker decisions.
Yeah, I
all
can
the
kind of
time.
see why that's not in there.
Hey,
He has
watch
the
this.
awkward talking where he's like, I won't sneak out until she does. Nobody says that out loud to themselves.
I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, but you don't.
Especially in the car.
I doubt you do that.
I do.
won't do
I
this
recite.
until she
I recite
does.
that very line. I'm going to recite that very line when we get off today.
And you probably will.
So this is a scene. This is a very morbid scene that was deleted, and I don't agree with this.
Is this the blood? Oh, yes. Oh, this is great. I have seen this.
So as everybody knows, in the actual original movie, he gets sucked into a bed as he's watching TV, and then blood spits out onto the ceiling. So this is what happens after it that was cut, and I don't understand why.
Mm. Wow. I love that.
And they're raising him.
I love
with
that.
some wine fall. How great is that?
Yeah.
Why cut
That's
it?
fantastic.
And they had very little budget to work with. Why cut it? Explain to me what.
Because it puts the period at the end because you're like, okay, where'd he go? You'd have to
I
find
guess.
him.
I guess.
If he gets sucked into a bed, they've got to,
I like knowing.
real life comes in. He's really dead. So you got to find where's his body.
Yeah, I understand that. I would rather see that though. It's just my opinion.
I love this.
It's all subjective. I would have fought Wes Craven on that tooth and nail.
And it's so that is so creepy.
Crazy Robin, I think, agrees with you. He was not going to look like he did in the early '90s. If the hair was going to be short, it would have to be very tame, not looking like
Yeah.
a member
Just
of the
just
flock
tame
of
it down.
seagulls. So crazy Robin runs, she runs so far away, I couldn't get away.
I love that.
Secret Window, Hooper, if you're a Depp fan, is a great. It's almost like him in a one-act play.
I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, I think he was trying to look like Cobain in that, right?
I don't know. It's just the 90s, late 90s, right?
The director is the David Koepp, who directed Mordecai, and he is also the writer of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Koepp, David Koepp.
When did that movie come out?
2004.
Okay. All right, yeah. That was the heyday of my movie going. So yeah, that's the one that I saw. It's one
What
of
was your
the
routine, Sarah? Every Monday
every
night.
Monday night. I was
every
off
Monday
Mondays
night?
and Tuesdays, so I would go out with my friend every Monday night. We'd go to the movies.
A lot of towns have like a movie theater that offers like $5 Tuesday or $4 Monday or something. The nights of the week when people don't typically go to the
Yeah.
movies to try to get people to go and buy $14 popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they do well. It's always a good idea.
Oh. Was that just them ending the scene, or was he gonna?
I think that's him ending the scene, and he's, the camera stopped rolling, and he's
Okay, because they're gonna like rejuvenate him.
Nice anti-Semitism there, sir.
Rejuvenate? Oh, shut up.
Here we go again.
I love it. That's scarier than anything else in the movie.
Isn't it? I think without the sound, it's scarier.
Yeah.
These horror movies of the '80s and I guess some of the late had this grittier. This movie is legitimately terrifying. It's really kind of brilliant. And Freddy Krueger is a pedophile, right? And the whole story is he's a pedophile.
They hint at it, but yeah.
They hint at it, but he
in the later
clearly
movies
is.
they're more open with that suggestion.
And Nancy had a sister. I'm trying to remember the plot.
I don't remember.
And he molested her sister or killed her sister, and so the entire town lynched him or something.
All the
or
parents
killed him, so they
burned.
thought.
Yeah, all the parents burned him.
It's a
his place
pretty
down.
brilliant horror, and I'm not a horror movie guy at all. Nothing scares me anymore except heights. And that movie, you watch it again, that the music, the tone, the year it came out, the grit of that, it's so good. Depp's only in it for, what would you say, 7 minutes maybe?
Maybe.
But he's the main
what we just
boyfriend.
watched. That's right. That's on par with what's the friend's name? Her being drugged through the halls in the body bag.
Oh God, Tina?
Yeah, Tina.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would that idiot cut that out?
How about her boyfriend Lane?
Yeah.
Rod Lane, I think his name was. Ah, rock and roller. They blamed him for the death of. Nancy was very cute, nerdy girl. Balo, I agree.
You just like the
Heather
bathtub.
Heather Langenkamp is her name.
Yeah.
She's pretty. She's younger than Depp by. Oh no, actually she's old. I think what it was is she was older than I thought. She's not older than. Maybe she is older than Depp.
I'll always know her from Just the 10 of Us, and that's it.
Remember that fucking one with Bruce Kirschbaum or some shit?
I love
He
that.
he was a coach and he had 9 daughters or
He
something.
looked like Scott the Engineer.
Yes.
I love that show.
Crazy Robin says, not at all, Sarah. I would smell them, then I would wear them and not wash them.
I wouldn't wear them. I wouldn't want to taint them, but I would need his odor on me, even if it's ass. Thank you, Hooper, for the 10.
That's classic Hoops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here he comes again.
Oh.
The half shirt is so 80s, but he pulls it off. Babs the Rush. He pulls it off. I guess there's multiple takes here.
Oh, maybe, yeah, or a different angle.
He's very convincing in that. That's just, and let's give him a little WNBC clap because that's his first fucking role ever. It's his first on quite a to be the lead male boyfriend in the really, I feel, the best horror movie in history is quite.
Oh, you cut out.
There
you go.
My thunder thighs hit the mute button and pinned it against the desk. And I was saying that quite a role to get as your first debut. You're the boyfriend, the male lead in what I feel is the best horror movie in history. I mean, that's quite a debut. And then to be in Platoon after that is, which I feel is the best war movie of all time.
Yeah. By the way, send me a picture of what's in between those meaty thighs.
Bunch of weird decisions they made in Nightmare, says Balo, but overall it's the scariest movie ever. I agree. Hooper says I wears a half shirt so my belly can hang over my belt. Oh, that's from that's Fat Bastard. I think he's doing. There's a bunch of weird. Thanks. Secret Window is in the theater. Crazy Robin indeed saw Secret Window in the theater as well. Not a lot of people there, but I enjoyed it.
I didn't like the ending. I don't want to say what it is, but even though it's 30 years ago.
Strange ending. It's just a great excuse to watch him like in a one-act play by himself. I mean, he's literally in. There's no one else in the movie except John Turturro, Timothy Hutton, and Maria Bello, who plays his girlfriend or wife, ex-wife.
I think so. I love that house.
I gotta watch it again. I do too. I think everybody's fantasy is to be like in a cabin in Vermont
with him,
like Steve, not just writing a book and just stowed away from everything. I remember getting jealous of Walter White at the end of Breaking Bad when he was in this Vermont cabin, and Robert Forster set him up to live there. I remember being jealous of that.
I didn't get that far.
I got a picture of Monique's place in I think it was the Pennsylvania place, and it looked just like that. Like those cabins where people go to write a book, and I was like jealous. She redesigned it to make it blacker, dark instead of you broads love the color white for some reason, and she made hers black. I thought she did a phenomenal job redesigning it. Looked really cool. Thank you, Hooper, once again. Thank you, Hooper. Thank you for all.
Oh, he wants pool water. I'd have to travel back to my childhood, and that's a little creepy.
Why don't you pool hop? One of my crazy renegade daredevil vandalism inspiration, Pete Savante, the hero of my childhood, the older brother I never had. One of the things we did all the time was pool hop before there were cameras and stuff. The only thing you had was the automatic lights that would go on.
If
So,
you
10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday in July, we would jump in someone's pool.
If you came onto my property, you'd be lucky to make it past.
Your dad would shoot us, right? Your dad would literally
No,
shoot
he'd
us.
chase you.
He would actually chase. He didn't catch
He chased
us.
the guy, that was stealing our Christmas lights.
He ain't catching me, and he's certainly not catching Pete Savante with his parkour fence hopping skills.
Yeah, Hooper wants bath water instead. I was going to say bath water, but that's really gross.
The Avengers couldn't catch Pete Savante. Freddy Krueger movies are homoerotic, and Depp. I got to play that next time. Depp has a cameo. Is it Nightmare 4, Sarah, in 1991, where he does your brain on drugs and then gets hit with the pan. Freddy hits him with the pan.
Isn't it like 6?
Could be 6. They just kept pumping him out.
That's when all the celebrities were making cameos.
Yeah.
Around that era.
But he was beholden to Wes Craven for giving him that big break in the beginning. Nicolas Cage is the one who introduced him to him, and it was Wes Craven's daughter who thought he was dreamy compared to the other Ted McGinley types that were
Smart girl.
And he stood out. Very smart girl. She
Why
really
don't-
owes him for the career.
Why don't you play
He
him?
owes her for the career.
I'm sorry. Why don't you play him raising out of the bed to end it too?
Okay.
Well, just when you're
I
ready.
thought I had the full scene again. Where I think they incorporated. Let me see if I can find. I thought I put that in here.
By the way, I still haven't gotten over your kielbasa comment like 2
What did I
episodes ago. the
What
type
did I
of
say?
farts in the bathtub.
Oh, my dad. Yeah. That's a real thing. You just hear coming from the other room with those thin walls in the 80s. And he would just act like he didn't hear it, or just not talk. It was just one of those things you didn't talk about. He just had that eye contact when he gets out of the tub. You're like, he nods at me.
If you don't think I lived through that in my childhood 2 dozen times, yeah. But see, in my family, we mock each other for it. So
I guess I'll just play that same one because
yeah, just play the same one, and then when he falls, end the show. Okay, love you, everybody.
Morgan. I can't wait to see Andrew Morgan's opening again with Depp on the season 4 of Jump Street. Goes, I got it, man. Cincinnati -4.5. I'm making this bet, Daryl.
Love it. All right, I think that's the period at the end of the sentence.
And I run so far away, I couldn't get away. All right, everyone, this is Arm for Sarah saying, no time is a good time for goodbyes. I love you all. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. See the Patreon tonight. There will be the Gary First Pitch Saga, which is almost 10 hours. And I will put a Depp video of, I haven't quite decided yet. I might do the Jonathan Ross one where he goes on the convertible tour with him through LA. You know that thing you saw, Sarah. So
yep.
Will definitely be the Gary one. Answer. I love you all. I will see you online. Crazy Robin, I'm glad you're doing better, and it's great to see you again. It does my heart warm, and I capitalize the ARM at the end to see you in there doing well.
Warm.
And Crypto Nymphazi, everyone else. Thank you, everyone. Good night. I love you all.